here at Citizens Bank Park. Sold out crowds the entire weekend. And Chan-Ho Park gets himself set to face Jose Reyes to start this ball game off. Chan-Ho Park, no wins, no losses, an ERA of just over 7. And here's the first pitch. Fastball taken up and away, and the count is 1-0 to Jose Reyes. Reyes hitting .284 this year, a home run and 7 RBIs. That one just missed, so it's 2-1 to Reyes. Chan-Ho Park's numbers this year, as we just mentioned, 16 1/3. He has 10 strikeouts. He's allowed 20 base hits. Coming off his best outing of the year, his last time out against the Florida Marlins.
Pedro Feliz way up at third. Now can go back with 2 strikes on him. There's the reports on Park. That's his fastball. Good curveball slider. And always needs a pitch ahead in the count. He's not an overpowering guy. Relies on control.
Well, he's got the count even 2-2. A chopper toward first. Scooped up by Ryan Howard. A 1 away here at the top of the first inning. Well, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the New York Mets, brought to you by AT&T. It's Reyes, then Alex Cora, the second baseman. Daniel Murphy, the left fielder, hits third. Carlos Beltran, the center fielder, is in the cleanup spot. David Wright, the third baseman, bats fifth. Ryan Church is in right field, hitting sixth. Fernando Tatis is at first base for Carlos Delgado. He'll bat seventh. Omir Santos is the catcher. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is the right-hander, Mike Pelfrey. So here is Alex Cora playing for Luis Castillo. Castillo is battling back spasms for another ball game.
Yeah, he was their whipping boy up there. Castillo was, and he got off to a pretty good start this year for the Mets. And as Tom said, he's had back problems. This Alex Cora is a nice little extra man, though. He can play. He can do some things.
Well, he started 41 games last year for the Boston Red Sox.
He had pretty good numbers against the Phillies when he was with the Dodgers. He seemed like he played a lot against them in those days and hit them well.
Hitting .238 this year with no homers and 4 RBIs.
He's doing a lot of digging there at home plate, and he keeps that hand up for the home plate umpire James Hoy to keep time out.
3-0 the count to Alex Cora. See what Cora's done against the Phillies for his career. .286 batting average. He's not a home run hitter, and he has 10 RBIs.
Brother of Joey Cora, of course, had a nice career in the major leagues.
Joey Cora is a guy who's been rumored to be a managerial candidate at some point.
He's with the bench coach now with the White Sox.
Yep.
Time now for our Key State Chrysler Jeep keys to tonight's ball game. Phillies and the New York Mets. Boys, this has turned into a great rivalry. Round one tonight. Stay away from the back of the Mets bullpen. In close games, you used to want to get into it, and now it's really been upgraded. They're a lot tougher.
Well, they blew a save their last time out against the Florida Marlins. Here's Daniel Murphy batting in the number 3 spot tonight. Well, he takes one for a strike.
Excuse me, Tom. They think, and rightfully so, that if they have the game after the 8th inning with a lead, that Putz and K-Rod have a chance to shut down the opposition, and they probably will a lot this year.
There's Jerry Manuel, the manager of the Mets. 0-1 hit in the air toward right. It's deep. Backing up is Jason Worth to the warning track, to the wall, and he jumps, and it's gone. A 2-run home run for Daniel Murphy. How about that? And the Mets lead it 2-0.
Well, Murphy doesn't even pull many balls. He got ahead in the count. Not a pull hitter. And the Mets have to think, oh, is that sweet after playing in their park? Because you can't hit homers there. And you're certainly going to hit them here on a warm night. A fastball right down the middle and a fly ball to right center field, and it just gets into the first row.
Well, that's the 5th home run allowed by Park. And with 1 away, here's Carlos Beltran. Well, Park now has fallen behind the first 4 hitters that he's faced in this game.
It's one of the things we put in the scouting report about him. Because he's one of those guys that's going to get hurt if he gets behind in the count, and it's happened already. Walks a guy, and then Murphy, who I mentioned hardly ever pulls the ball, hits it out to right center.
Beltran is riding a 12-game hitting streak, as that one is popped foul. He leads the league in hitting with that .388 batting average. And during the 12-game hitting streak, he's hitting .426.
The Phillies get behind and yet another game and a home run in the first inning. It's happened a lot this year.
It's now 41 home runs that the staff has allowed. 2-2 the count.
Well, the Mets have hit 6 home runs in their new ballpark in 12 games. So they have to be thankful to get out of there for a little while.
Overall, that's just the 14th home run they've hit this year, which is 15th in the National League. Two and two the count to Beltran.
Been their really hot hitter early this year. It's Beltran. He's been on fire.
Slow roller foul up the first base line. Mets come into play tonight in 4th place in the National League East. They're 4 games back of the Florida Marlins, who lost today to the Chicago Cubs. And our Firestone leaders, Beltran leading the way in batting average, but Raul Ibanez right there in the number 4 spot in the league. Manny Ramirez second in the league with a .372 average. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. There's Raul. He's among the league leader not only in batting average but also a number of other categories. 3-2 the count to Beltran. Outside, ball 4. That's the second walk issued by Chan-Ho Park in this inning. And for Charlie Manuel, whose team is trying to continue what has been a good homestand, this is not the way you want to start it.
No, and you want some guys to start pitching deep into games, and one of the ways to do it is not to get off to a bad start by throwing a lot of pitches in the first inning.
One away here at the top of the first inning. Here's David Wright. Wright hitting .280 with a home run and 8 RBIs. He has struck out 27 times already this year.
It's amazing. He does run hot and cold, but not like this.
He's second in the league in strikeouts now with those 27.
He's right on top of the plate.
Takes that one off the inside corner, so it's quickly 1-0, and he's fallen behind another batter.
I wonder if he's been doing that all year, or whether he's moved up a little bit to try and get to those outside pitches. He can drive the ball to right and right center with the best of the right-handed hitters in the league when he's swinging the bat well.
2-0. David Wright is the career leader in batting average for the New York Mets organization at .308. Keith Hernandez right behind him at .297. As Beltran draws the throw over. Beltran has stolen just 1 bag this year. Down and away, 3 balls and no strikes. Rich Doobie may be paying a visit out to the mound very shortly. Seen Chan-Ho Park throw 22 pitches, 13 out of the strike zone. Make it 14. Ball 4, back-to-back walks, 3rd walk of the inning. And this is reminiscent of that game against Colorado.
Just going to say that. What he did in that game was pitch away from the bat in the first inning, gave up a 4 spot. Or was it 5? 4 or 5 in the first inning in that game, and Phillies got behind the 8 ball. They wound up winning it.
7-5, yep.
Yeah, I think it was a 5 spot.
Yeah, that was the game in which Chase Utley tied it, and Matt Stairs put the Phillies ahead with 2-run home runs. Now Chan-Ho Park meeting on the mound with Rich Doobie. Looks like Rich is doing all the talking. It just seemed like the way Chan-Ho Park pitched the other day against the Marlins that maybe he had turned the corner somewhat.
He had the 1 bad inning, but he threw more strikes. And he's still a long way to go, hopefully, in this for him, and start to throw strikes. But when you nibble, you get behind, and then what's that? Charlie used that have to counts, where you have to throw a strike. And good hitting teams like New York, and they are a good hitting team even though they're struggling a little bit, they will kill you.
Oh, they're 3rd in the league at batting average at .282. Here's Ryan Church, who's hitting .313. Home run and 8 RBIs. Phillies stand at double play depth with a 1 out here in the top of the first inning. That's low, ball 1.
Body language is just bad right now. You know, it's a matter, I don't know whether he's fighting the umpire himself or a combination.
Wheels, that's 6 batters now that he's fallen behind 1-0.
And got one of them out, Reyes.
2-0.
You know, it's how you can get somebody up right away and bring him in because they're short out there.
Ryan Church, tough to strike out. Victorino, second only to James Loney of the Dodgers, who's the toughest to strike out. As the runners lead off, not being held on. 3 balls and no strikes the count to Ryan Church.
The Mets are doing a great job too of being patient. You know, they can see he's all over the place and they're not going to help him.
I think that bullpen's starting to stir a little bit. Fernando Tatis is in the on-deck circle for the Mets. You would think that Jay Happ would be the first one to get up and start loosening. Taking all the way. That one's at the knees for a strike.
Knew that was coming.
Oh, this crowd, these Phillies fans, I mean, they've enjoyed the first month of the season on the field, but they've been looking forward to this series for the last few weeks. That's a strike on the outside corner. 3-2. Back-to-back strikes by Chan Ho Park.
Fans kind of take it personal. Players really don't, but the fans do. So you know they're really wired for this tonight.
I was driving in today at about 12:30, and they were already tense up with Philly fans tailgating. I mean, it was great. 3-2 the count with 1 away. The runners not being held on.
You wouldn't think they'd run here because of the left-handed hitter and a clear shot at third.
They don't go. That one rolled toward the right side, scooped up by Howard. He has one at second. Parks there for the second out. He got him. A double play. 3-6-1. And it all began with the throw from Ryan Howard. And you talk about limiting the damage. Chan Ho Park was able to do it because of the Phillies defense here at the top of the first. Phillies get a chance to bat, down 2-0. The center fielder bats second, then Chase Utley, the second baseman. Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez are the middle of this order for the Phillies. And the bottom third, Pedro Feliz at third base, Chris Coase, the catcher, and Chan Ho Park on the mound. And they'll face right-hander Mike Pelfrey, who is making his 4th start of the year. He has battled some tendonitis in his forearm, and he's 2-0 with a 6.32 ERA. 9 walks and 19 hits in 15 2/3 innings.
It's a lot of base runners.
And left-handers hitting .333 against him. And the first lefty to face him is switch hitter Jimmy Rollins. Saw J-Roll's numbers against the Mets. Well, Jimmy had a pretty good series against the Washington Nationals. Overall, he's batting .207 with a home run and 6 RBIs. Against the Nationals, though, he was 6 for 14. He's starting to stir a little bit. Down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike.
You're going to see from Pelfrey, he's a great big guy, 6'7", 230-pounder, and he throws a lot of hard sinkers.
That's a liner towards short, scooped up on 1 hop by Reyes. And there's 1 away.
And here is the scouting report on the big guy out of Wichita State University, Mike Pelfrey, former #1 pick, June of 2005. That's a velocity we just put on there. Sink, 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 his best pitch. They say it's like a bowling ball when he's throwing well. A really hard sinker ball, and he's very tough on right-handed hitters.
The right-handers are hitting just .286 against him this year, and that's actually high than normal.
Thrown 7 home run balls in his whole career to right-handed hitters and 600 and some at bats. And that gives you an idea how tough he is on right-handed hitters. So Phillies have a lot of left-handed hitters, which is good.
Shane Victorino hitting .286 on the year. Shane is riding a 10-game hitting streak. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Dolores McGuire from Marlton. Hey, Dolores, if the Phillies hit a home run tonight's ball game, you'll win $100. Compliments of McDonald's. Introducing a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos. That one inside, so it's 2-1 to Victorino. Along with that 10-game hitting streak, in which Shane's batting .349, he's also 5 for 13 on this homestand. Count runs full, 3-2 to Victorino. Pelfrey against the Phillies 1-2 with a 4.09 ERA. He's allowed more hits per innings pitched. He's allowed 3 home runs here in this ballpark during his career. And a chopper toward the middle. Reyes has it behind the second base bag. And they're 2 away. Well, Chan-Ho Park was really helped out, Wheels, by the double play that ended the top of the first inning.
Good job by Ryan Hubbard. Watch what happens with David Wright. See, for some reason, he starts back to first base. What that did was 2 things. It allowed, look at the lane that Ryan Howard has to throw. He doesn't have to worry about a runner. There's nobody here. Now Jimmy Rollins has no pressure on him. Nobody to slide at him. So they complete the 3-6-1 double play. And for whatever reason, David Wright went back to first on something that it looked like was an obvious ground ball, not a line drive.
There's Chase Utley with 2 away. And how about the throw by Ryan Howard? I know you said there was nobody in that area, but his defense, he's had 2 throws in this homestand. They've been pretty sharp.
Confident throw to second, and it really helps when there's no runner there to worry about.
See Chase's numbers. He's 6th in the league in hitting at .342. And he works the count in his favor, 2-0. There is Ryan.
And you see they've hit 2 hard ground balls off Pelfrey, but that's the way he lives, on the ground ball. And Reyes is really good out there at shortstop. He's made 2. Those were both good plays. They looked easy and they weren't.
No one's off the hands. A foul ball over the third base dugout. 2-1 to Chase. So the ground ball percentage of outs for Mike Pelfrey.
Right, and he needs that to be higher as far as the ground balls go. That's one of the reasons maybe why his numbers are the way they are. Because when he's on, he'll throw ground ball after ground ball.
He fights another one off, so it's 2-2. Chase lifetime has 2 home runs against Mike Pelfrey. This is only his 12th official at bat against the right-hander. And he's 3 for 11 in his previous 11 trips to the plate. And that hit him. Utley hit by the pitch. 4th time this year he's been hit by a pitch. And the Phillies have a base runner and give Ryan Howard a chance to bat here in the bottom of the first inning.
A 96-mile-an-hour sinker too. You get hit, you don't want to get hit by a pitch like that. See how Pelfrey tries to keep everything down. He was trying to run that fastball back. Oh, and hit him right on the shin.
That's a lot of bone right there.
That one hurt. You can tell by Utley's reaction. He didn't want to. He doesn't even want to touch it.
He doesn't show any expression.
All right, well, he doesn't want them to know that hurt. That baby had to hurt.
So he's aboard. Here's Ryan Howard. Ryan with 4 home runs and 15 RBIs. And he takes one high. Now they have the overshift on against Ryan. And Cora, the second baseman. See Wright, the shortstop, up toward the middle. There's Reyes. Look where Cora is. I mean, he is tucked over toward the line.
He could do that with 2 outs. Don't have to worry about anything other than catching the baseball out there with 2 outs. And they are really playing him to pull.
Up and in, 2-0 to Howard. Ryan on this homestand, 3 for 11. And he has had, in just 66 games, a pretty good run against the Mets in his career.
First career home run off the Mets at Shea Stadium.
See how tight that hole is on the right side. Pops that one foul toward the upper deck. And it's 2-1.
Beltran's playing pretty much straight away in center field. He is a gazelle out there. He can cover a lot of ground, so he doesn't overshift a whole lot. Murphy, the left fielder, is kind of shaky. Church is a good outfielder in right.
Murphy's playing out where Chipper Jones used to play. Remember when he played left field, how deep he played? Good swing by Ryan. Boy, he just missed that pitch. And it's 2-2. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, I mentioned that the Phillies have pulled a half game closer on the Marlins. That's because the Marlins, who had a 5-1 lead at one point in that game, wound up losing to the Cubs 8-6. Ryan Theriot, his first career grand slam in 1,351 at-bats. Full count. Utley's going to be off on the next pitch.
Interesting, to an off-speed pitch there, 2-2. Throws so many sinkers, and when he throws a breaking ball or a changeup, it's kind of surprising.
Utley's going to be off with this pitch. There he goes. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled. And Chase will head back to first, and we'll do it over again.
He played off him, of course, on the 3-2, not worried about him because they know he's going to run. And then they brought Cora in. He was on the edge of the grass when that pitch was thrown. I don't get that. I mean, why would you do that? Now he's all the way back where he should be. You know.
So did he charge it, or did he?
He was standing. Yeah, he was coming and coming, and he was standing right on the edge of the grass.
And he goes again. The pitch is hit back toward the middle, under the glove of Reyes. Utley's going to get to third. Sounded like Ryan Howard broke his bat. Beltran slips, but Chase was already anchored on third base. And the Phillies have runners on first and third here in the bottom of the first inning.
Boy, that thing went whistling by Pelfrey, too. That had to be a little bit scary for the big guy. As Tom said, you know, you're going to have to stop here. That's Reyes going after that, and he almost makes another spectacular play. Real close. It looked like he was going to pick that thing, and here comes Utley hard to third. Sam Perlaza holding him all the way, and then when Beltran goes to throw, his feet go out from under him.
I mean, he got up pretty quick, though.
Yeah. And they, of course, had already stopped Utley at third base, so there's nothing else to do. Play was over.
So runners on first and third for the Phils. Jason Worth, the batter. And with 2 outs, the Phillies looking for a clutch base hit from their right fielder. Phillies have the 4th best batting average with runners in scoring position in the league at .281. It's been a tough homestand for Jason. He's just 1 for 11 coming into this game, and 1 for 6 for his career against Pelfrey. Neither pitcher has done a good job working ahead of the hitters in this first inning.
No, and the Mets have made the Phillies pay, and now they're trying to make Pelfrey pay here with 2 outs.
Down and in, 2 balls and 1 strike to Worth. There's Chan-Ho Park. He's hoping for a little offensive retribution here. Get back into this game, maybe clean the slate as he begins the top of the second. Chopper toward third. Right has it. Inning is over. Howard retired at second. The Phillies threaten but do not score. They strand 2. We have played 1. We head on to the second. It's 2-0 New York. Mets lead at 2-0 as we go to the top of the second inning here at Citizens Bank Park. During the 2009 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Graham Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Chan-Ho Park with a good pitch to start the top of the second inning against Fernando Tatis. It's the bottom third of the order for New York. And Park needs to throw some strikes. He threw 29 pitches in the first inning. And just 12 strikes. There's a strike that's hit right past Chase Utley at second base. And Tatis has a 6-game hitting streak. Well, last year, coming into May 1st, that's where the Phillies sat. Just to the left, half a game behind the Florida Marlins. They were 15-13. They had 28 games. This year, well, the Phillies are a game and a half out coming into play tonight. The Marlins are at 14-9. They've kind of stabilized things. And Braves are at 3 out, and the Mets are at 4 games out.
Yeah, a lot more games last year, and of course 1 game in the month of March for the Phillies last season.
It's always interesting to go back a year from this point to see where everybody was sitting. As Omir Santos stands in for the Mets. The Arizona Diamondbacks last year had 20 wins at this point. They were 5.5 up in the National League West.
Oh, they jumped out quickly last year, and then, well, I guess kindly you'd say they faded.
Yes, they did. Well, this year they've faded from the beginning.
Well, one thing you try not to do is get buried in April. The old thing in about not being able to win a pennant or a championship in April, but boy, you can lose one when you get off to a bad start. It takes a long time to dig in.
Omir Santos in his first year here in the big leagues hit a grand slam, first home run.
This guy was in the Baltimore organization for a long time. One of those guys that came to camp this year with the Mets, one of those non-roster type guys. Didn't make their club. And then when Schneider went down, they brought him up, and he's done a very good job for them. He's not, I think he's 28 years old. He's not a kid.
Yeah, 28 years old from Puerto Rico. Runner goes. The pitch is slashed the opposite way. It's a base hit. Roll it toward the corner. Tatis is being waved around third, now being held. Santos pulls it to second with a stand-up double. And the Mets have runners on second and third here at the top of the second inning. Razor shines. The third base coach held up Fernando Tatis. And Jason Wirth did a great job cutting that ball off.
Yeah, he went into a slide and cut it off. And that's a good job by third base coach Razor Shines, who was the Phillies manager Clearwater last year. Here's Tatis coming around. Now he looks for his third base coach on this. There's nobody out. And even with the pitcher coming up, you don't want to run him right in. There's Razor Shines, who we're talking about, slowing him up. And that was the Clearwater Phillies manager, Clearwater Threshers manager last year.
So now runners on second and third for Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey 0 for 5 this year. And he hits one in the air to left field. It's deep. Ibanez going back into the gap, to the warning track, to the wall. Makes the catch, tagging from third. Tatis. The throw goes to third. That is a heck of a play by Raul Ibanez. And the Mets lead it 3-0.
Yeah, heck of a play by Ibanez, and pitcher hitting the ball that far too. You know, that's probably as a hanging breaking ball. You saw where Coase was set up to catch it. It was right down the middle. Ibanez does make a terrific play, wheels and throws, but good base running by Santos, the catcher, to tag and go to third on this. He did what he's supposed to do with nobody out, and that's hang around second.
So now with one away, runner on third, the infield is in for the Phillies here at the top of the second inning. They want to try to cut off another run if they can. Reyes bounced one to Howard his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. His fastball is down in velocity a little bit tonight compared to the other night against the Florida Marlins. It's been coming in about 87, 88 miles an hour. Fly ball to right center field. Victorino on the run. Looks like he's got it. Makes the grab. Tagging from third is Santos. And he'll score to make this a 4-0 game. So back-to-back sacrifice flies for the Mets. And they've tacked on 2 more here in the top of the second.
And that was because of the good base running by the catcher. You know, you see a lot of guys. Reyes got the run and hit another breaking ball. You see a lot of guys where the ball was hit, the one with Santos on there, where they float around between second and third. Then it's too late. And that's exactly what Ibanez had done. He got it back in so quickly that if he hadn't tagged up right away, he would not have been able to get to third. They wouldn't have gotten this run. So give that catcher a plus for some good base running, unfortunately.
Yep, now 2 away. Alex Cora, the batter. He slaps one the opposite way. It's going to drop in front of Ibanez. And it's a base hit for Cora. That's the 3rd hit of the inning for the Mets. And I don't think you can blame the Phillies fans for being restless right now.
Well, it's one breaking ball after another that he's getting hurt on, too, because he doesn't seem to trust his fastball tonight.
Hey, the Florida Marlins will be in for the first time this year, May 25th through the 27th. On the 25th, it's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at 7:05. The 26th is a 7:05 start as well. The 27th is already sold out. It's the Teva Phillies Shamrock Cap giveaway. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com. 2 away, runner on first. Daniel Murphy, who homered his first time up, bats with Cora on first base. Murphy had a 2-run home run his first time up at the plate. A little off speed pitch there, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, it was a breaking ball that Pelfrey hit. It was a breaking ball Reyes hit, and also Cora. So he's just gotten away from his fastball.
A roller toward third. Feliz makes the nice play, and a good strong throw, and the inning is over. Mets do get 2 on 3 hits. They strand 1. Middle of the second. It's 4-0 New York. What a pickup for the Eagles to get Jeremy Maclin, an outstanding receiver out of Missouri. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, the Phils have to come from behind yet again to get back into this game. They trail at 4-0. And Raul Ibanez leads things off. Ibanez fourth in the league in hitting, third in home runs, third in runs scored. And he's down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
And Pelfrey was all over the place in the first inning. Now he ought to feel pretty confident with a 4-run lead after his team has only hit twice. If that doesn't make you start throwing strikes, nothing will.
Santos wanted it high. It was high. It's 1-2. Saw that graphic on Ibanez riding a 6-game hitting streak. He's got a 6-game streak. Victorino's got a 10-game streak. Rollins is hitting 4 in a row. And if not for this Phillies offense, the Phillies April would have been far worse than 2 over 500.
Oh yeah, a lot of come from behind wins.
That one has popped up straight away center field. Beltran started back, but he makes the catch, and there's one away. So Ibanez is retired here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, what this does is that the offense gets their head down a little bit. You can't help it. But it's early. They've been through this a lot this year. But the Mets have a little better pitching than a lot of teams that they're going to face. Some of the other teams that they faced. And there's a team comparison between these two.
Look at the home run difference, Wheels. 29 for the Phillies, 13 for the Mets coming into this ball game. Now 14 for New York.
That new ballpark of theirs, evidently it's a triples haven, but not so hot for homers.
We will see that ballpark for the first time next week. Here's Pedro Feliz hitting .323. What a start he's had to the season. Lays off the pitch, and it's 1-1. Pedro with a couple home runs and 14 RBIs. And he was 4 for 8 in the 2 games he played against the Nationals. Broke his bat, roller to third. And it's an easy first 2 outs for Mike Pelfrey.
Remember that bowling ball sinker we talked about in the scouting report?
That was it right there, wasn't it?
That's it. That's what happens. You know, this guy has tremendous talent, Pelfrey. He just has never really put it together. But I've never heard anybody say they really like hitting off him, because the ball's so heavy. Here's the sinker. Look at it. Look at that thing move. That's a fastball moving like that. And just shatters the bat. And that gives you some idea of how much movement he has on his sinker.
I would think when it's off, it's really off. You know, where you can't control it going inside.
Right. Or exactly. Or you could start that thing at a point where it comes right over the middle of the plate and says, hit me.
Chris Coates the batter, and he's down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. See Chris's batting average. No homers yet. 5 RBIs. Came close the other day. Had a foul ball that looked like a grand slam. Slices that one the opposite way. It's a base hit. Second hit of the night for the Phillies. And that one was just beyond the stretch of Fernando Tatis.
Get a hit there and get the pitcher out of the way. And you know, Chano Park can get a base hit sometimes. He had a home run in the game the other night in Florida. But important in these kind of games to clear that pitcher out of there and lead off with the top of your order. And Tatis almost prevented that from happening.
So Coates is aboard. He'll be held out by Tatis. Some boos greeting Chan-Ho Park. And he hits the first pitch in the air. And that should be it for the inning. Cora calls off Tatis, and he's able to make the grab, and the inning is over. Phillies strand 1. They've shredded 3 through the first 2. Chan-Ho Park trailing at 4-0 as he goes back to work. Submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, which 3 Phillies did the Mets select in the 1961 expansion draft? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. I see your mind working, Wheels.
That was a bad team. Lost 120 games, and Whitey was the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Season ended on a triple play against them.
And he called game over.
Game over.
Yep. There's Beltran to lead off the top of the 3rd.
What Whitey always say that Casey said, fellers, this was a team effort.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Beltran. Beltran walked in the 1st inning, one of 3 walks issued by Chan-Ho Park. Mets scored 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. Chan-Ho Park at his last outing, against the Marlins, retired 9 of the first 10 batters that he faced. I mean, he was cooking. 12 of the first 14.
Well, they're a little more aggressive too.
Well, I guess that's true.
And the Mets came up tonight and they were not. And I'm not saying he was close with his pitches, but you could tell they had a plan. And they worked the count very well, and they hurt him in that. Well, they've hurt him in 2 innings.
Bouncing ball off the first base line. It's a foul ball off the bat of Beltran. Chan-Ho Park was a New York Met back in 2007. He pitched in 1 game. He didn't fare that well.
As you would say, that didn't go well.
Nope. 9 games in AAA that year before being released. Thought maybe he had a letter high strike there. Ball 4. Beltran draws his 2nd walk of the night. And that is the 4th walk issued by Chan-Ho Park. Hey, the Phillies Baseball Academy is right on the horizon. It's for girls and boys ages 7 to 14 who are interested in playing baseball, and girls ages 9 to 14 interested in softball. Professional coaching, skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. You can log on to PhilliesCamps.com for more information. 14 locations, 18 weeks. David Wright, the batter. He walked his first time up. And he swings at the first pitch, and he's in the hole 0-1.
Well, they'll know when David Wright's starting to go right, because he'll hit the ball the other way. He can drive it to right and right center, and when he's hot, that's what he does well. He probably isn't in too much of a pull mode. I've seen him a few times on TV. To me, he looks like he's pulling off a lot.
Well, and when he is hitting the ball the opposite way, I was watching some highlights the other night. I mean, it's so cavernous out in right center field. They're catching the ball.
Yep. Well, he's probably not driving it. He's probably hitting high fly balls out in that area compared to the and other times at Shea Stadium, some of those high fly balls go out of the ballpark. But boy, that park gives up some triples, doesn't it?
The Mets lead the league with 11 triples. 10 different guys have accounted for those 11 triples.
Well, they've evidently got a lot of crazy caroms there. It's like a pinball machine.
There's the direction of his outfield hits. He's got 10 to left field that he's pulled. It's only 20 hits so far here in 2009. 1-1 the count to Wright.
He's a guy like Jimmy Rollins, though. You know, you don't worry about him that much because you figure he's going to hit.
It's that one in the air to left center field. It's hooking away from Victorino. He's not going to get it. Shane cuts it off in the gap. Does a nice job of getting it back in. Wright heading to second. The throw not in time. And the Mets have runners on second and third again with nobody out. Back-to-back innings that they've put runners on second and third.
And it started with a leadoff walk too. He pulled off on that, but that pitch hung enough that he was able to hook it. There's Shane Victorino, does a nice job cutting it off. But it's a double all the way.
Boy, Victorino and Worth have done a great job cutting these balls off the first 2 innings.
David Wright going into second, and on that center field camera shot, you can see that slider hang, and he was wide open, pulled off. You can see why he's probably having problems, because if that was a good breaking ball, he would have swung and missed at it.
Phillies bullpen still quiet. They were moving around a little bit in the first inning. Jay Happ had gotten up to start stretching a little bit. Ryan Church, the hitter, infield is back. And an off-speed pitch for a swing and strike, and the count is 0-1.
Lidge had a bullpen session today, did well, but is not available tonight. A lot of guys have been really overused early in the season. That's why nobody's up right now.
Beltran on third. Wright is on second.
Now will come a point where he may have to get somebody out.
Brad said that he felt good throwing his bullpen today, and tomorrow's the big day. You know, is he okay? He feels good. Threw hard today.
Yeah, it's not like he's on the DL or anything. It's just a matter of, okay, so he can use it, but not tonight. So that's one less guy they have out there.
Well, he just can't command the fastball. It's 2-1.
And he has no confidence in it. He's getting hurt on one breaking ball after another.
Park was able to get Church to bounce into a 3-6-1 double play in the first inning. Get out of that inning. He had allowed 2 runs on the home run by Murphy. On the inside corner, good pitch, and it's 2-2.
The Phillies are playing that infield all the way back too, trying to prevent any kind of a little squirter from going through and giving up a couple more runs and another base runner. Trying to just get some outs and hopefully not give up too many more runs.
Swing and a miss. He got him. There's out number 1. Boy, that is a needed out right there on a curveball from Chad Hope Park. And here is Brad Lidge earlier today, 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, with Rich Doobie taking a look. It was starting to rain right there. That was the end of his bullpen session. But they stopped on the way to the dugout and just discussed mechanics more than anything else. What Rich Doobie was saying before the game is that, you know, Brad Lidge just now has to get the muscle memory part of his return back.
Yeah, I mean, Lidge was talking about something to do with his posture on the mound, that he was doing something that he think was putting pressure on his leg, and that's what was bothering him.
Potentially walking Fernando Tatis, so that'll load up the bases here in the top of the third.
Well, you know, they're just rolling the dice now and hoping that they can get Santos to hit into a double play. The catcher, figure he doesn't run all that well. Maybe he can get a ball on the ground and get out of this. But this guy has pretty good bat control. Watching him some games, and the first at bat in this one, you know, he had a pitch away from him and whacked it into right field.
Santos doubled and scored his first time up. So the Phillies will play the infield at double play depth, trying to get out of this third and keep this at a 4-run deficit. Right down the chute for a strike. It's 0-1.
You take a strike out here too, obviously.
You figure Pelfrey's on deck. Just want to get the outs, not allow another run to score. Just got a piece of that one and lifted it foul, so it's 0-2. There is Pelfrey. Had a sac fly his first time up.
A deep sac fly.
Yep. Well, you figure, you know, 4 runs, and we say this all the time, not a big deal. Just got to keep it at 4 if you can.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, that was a close pitch. Park wanted it.
Well, he hadn't been around the plate much tonight, and it's tough to get those pitches called when you're all over the place. This one's close. That is a good breaking ball.
If he was around the plate, he might have gotten that one.
Yeah, it was close. It's hard to believe he didn't swing at it.
You're going to go there again. Pop up, shallow right field. Tagging from third is Beltran. Worth has it. Beltran takes off to the plate. Here's the throw to the plate on one hop. Coast can't get it in time. Beltran scores. It's 5-0 Mets.
He was safe too. I thought he was going to call him out by delaying like that, but he was safe. You can see his leg get in before the tag. That's some base running by Beltran too. Man, it's hard to believe he could score on that. Let's see where the throw is exactly. Worth, he was behind it, and then he got it off to the side a little bit. throw takes Coast away from the plate on a short hop, he has to reach up and pull his body up. He really can't put his foot down to block. See how he has to move up, and that foot is in before he can put the foot down. That's a really good call by Hoy. Right here, you get a real good look at it. This is what we saw. See, he right there goes right under his foot, and he's safe.
Yeah, he nearly got the foot down to block it from touching the plate.
But he couldn't because of that hop. Made his body come up in the air, and now he's not able to get his foot down. So if that was a short hop, he'd have had the foot down.
So 5-0 New York, and Pelfrey works ahead 1-0. I think your point, too, Wheels, about Jason was under it. At the last minute, it floated to his left.
Right. If he's behind that, I don't think Beltran even runs if he gets right behind that. See Carlos Beltran after he tagged, he was running down the line kind of still looking at Worth. And that's how good he is and how quick he is, that he was able to just kind of float down the line a little bit and then really turn it on. He hasn't been sliding at times this year, getting some criticism. Well, he slid then, and a good slide.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pelfrey. So 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 1 here in the third. Wright's on third, and Tatis is on second. Chopper back to the mound. That should be the inning. But there was some damage done by the Mets. They score a run on the sacrifice fly by Santos and some good base running by Beltran. That's 3 runs they've scored on sac flies. They lead it 5-0. Here in Philadelphia. It rained for a good portion of the afternoon. The tarp was on the field for most of the day. Neither team took batting practice out on the field.
It's supposed to be kind of a soggy weekend.
A little cooler on Sunday,
which of course will affect the shirt you
red pullover. Wheels, I've already decided.
Red pullover.
Yep.
Thank you.
You got it.
Boy, that's easy.
Jimmy Rollins leads things off. It hasn't been easy for the Phillies tonight. They trail at 5-0. Jimmy bounced to short his, I should say, lined a 1-hopper to short his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. And this one he pulls on the ground toward the middle. Cora makes a nice play, and there's 1 away.
It's a lot easier play to backhand that ball and then throw, and Cora did, I don't know, the way he got in front of it, and then it's harder to get anything on it, and he still got it. That's what he does here. This is a much easier play to backhand for an infielder, plant and throw, and then you really can't get anything on the throw when you do that, and he still got it.
Shane Victorino now the batter. Cora played second base for the injured Luis Castillo. Shane bounced to short. His first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Lines one over the head of the shortstop. Reyes into left field. Third hit of the night for the Phillies. And with one away, Shane Victorino with an 11-game hitting streak. Well, earlier today, the Phillies have done a lot in the community the last couple of days. Cole and his wife Heidi, they proudly introduced the Hamels Foundation effort into Philadelphia. They will be establishing grants of $73,000. The first one is $50,000 to the John B. Middleton School in Philadelphia. Excuse me, John B. Stetson Middle School in Philadelphia. Got the words spun around their wheels.
That's right.
But it's a great effort by Cole and Heidi, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, and it's great when you see the players doing that kind of stuff for the community, especially involving education like that.
Stetson Middle School is a 5th through 8th grade school located in the Kensington section of Philadelphia. 500 students. Chase Utley, the batter, with one away and a runner on first. He takes one up and in. Chase was hit by a pitch his first time up. See how he puts it up a notch with runners on base. 4 of his 7 home runs have come with a runner on base. The little guy's hoping for a little long ball here by Chase Utley. Fanatics trying to get a little buzz going around in this ballpark tonight. It's been quiet these last couple innings.
That's what scoring early runs by the opposition does to a ballpark.
And the walks by the starting pitcher. Toss over to first. That ball, I think, hit Victorino. Shoots away, and it's a foul territory. And Shane is going to pull up into second base. Well, he's feeling it a little bit right now. It's going to be an error charge to Mike Pelfrey. It's the 15th error of the season for the Mets.
That is the first error in Mike Pelfrey's career. And he does it on that kind of play. Here it is. The throw does hit him. And then Tatis is interfering with him. He would have been allowed to go to second base there if in fact somebody had gotten to that quickly. One of the other umpires would have seen it. Adrian Johnson was looking at the ball, but the second base umpire, Mike Winters, was watching the play, and they would have awarded him second.
There is Mike, the second base umpire. He is the crew chief of this umpiring crew.
One run doesn't seem like much, but you really want to get something out of this if you can, and just turn the momentum around a little bit.
Count moves to 2-1 to Chase Utley.
Well, he's pounded him inside with that sinker. That's how he hit Utley his first time up.
On the inside corner, a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2-2 to Chase. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Cardinals have taken a 3-0 lead behind an Albert Pujols home run over the Nationals. That's his 9th home run.
He's probably player of the month in the National League.
It's either he or Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah. Well, on this sheet, it's Pujols.
Bill's just filled out his player of the month ballot.
Yeah.
Who do you got for pitcher of the month?
I put Billingsley, the Dodgers. He's had a really good month.
3-2 the count. Now, each and every month, members of the media in each city get a ballot, and they fill out for player of the month, pitcher of the month, and rookie of the month.
Right, and sometimes we're asked if we'd like to fill one out, and there's a shot of the press box right there.
4. Utley's aboard, so the Phillies have 2 base runners here in the bottom of the 3rd.
I'll say one thing for Pelfrey, Tom, on Utley. He has a game plan with him, and he's going to stay in there. And Chase is doing a good job of not getting himself out. He is just pounding him inside.
Maybe the Phillies can cash in now with Ryan Howard at the plate and a runner in scoring position.
Well, that's the whole thing about their team. They're dangerous offensively. One swing of the bat, and it can erase a lot of the miseries of the first 2.5 innings.
Phillies are tops of the National League in home runs with 29. They're tied with the Milwaukee Brewers. And here, Victorino's on second, Utley's on first. A long ball would do the Phillies some good. Even a run here would do the Phillies some good.
Pelfrey, only 3 home run balls this year, all to left-handed hitters.
Ryan got a good swing and fouls that one off. It's 0-1.
7 home runs, we mentioned, the right-handed hitters in his career at 600. Well, it says 23 at bats. That's not even plate appearances. Way higher than that. No Phillies right-handed hitter has ever homered off him.
One pitch popped up, way up, down the left field line. Murphy is over, and they're 2 away.
He got in on him too. He is committed to busting guys inside, pitching in with that heavy sinker.
Time now for our Geico quote of the day. And it comes from Jerry Manuel. I'm playing the Phillies. They are the world champions. We'd like to go in there and play against them just to see how you match up. I'm looking forward to how we react to what they do. I want to see what we do, how our guys do. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO.
You were around that guy. Is he the right guy for them?
Well, I'll tell you, he's a very outgoing guy, and I think he's a very smart manager. So I think he's a big league manager. You know, I'm not sure if this crew, though. I'm not sure what kind of style this crew needs.
Yeah, that's a good point. You look at the Mets and all the diverse personalities they have in that clubhouse, and you do wonder.
On the outside corner to Worth, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jason thought that one was down and away.
A big pitch right there instead of 2-0. Now you're at 1-1.
Worth bounced into an inning-ending fielder's choice his first time up. Down and away, 2-1 the count.
Basically gone with hard sinker changeup to left-handed batters, throwing some sliders to the right-handed hitters.
You would think as hard as he throws, he would be more of a strikeout pitcher, but he's not.
Yeah, he's a ground ball pitcher.
He's got no strikeouts tonight, and only 6 on the year. Inside, ball 3. Boy, if Worth can get on, you got a left-hander in the on-deck circle in Raul Ibanez. Charlie Manuel is trying to get something going here offensively.
You really want Jason Worth to make sure he swings at a strike here.
Ball 4. The bases are going to be loaded. The Phillies with 3 grand slams in the last week. Dan Worthen, the pitching coach for the Mets, out to the mound to talk with Mike Pelfrey. Well, talking about the differences between these two teams, here's Ryan Matson's quote, which was appearing in some publications today. Some of the guys on their team just wouldn't fit in our clubhouse, and some of the guys here just wouldn't fit with their guys. It's one of those things where it's 2 different mentalities, 2 different attitudes, everything. It's like oil and water. We just don't believe in the same things. Well, it's interesting because I was talking to Pete Buchanan today. Just see Matson out in the bullpen. And Pete was saying to me, you know, Pete is the new bench coach for the Phillies, that the one thing that Charlie Manuel told him when he took the job is that this group, this Phillies group, will never give up. They'll play hard for the entire game. And, you know, I think that's what separates the Phillies from a lot of teams.
Yeah, it could be. And that may be part of what Ryan Matson's talking about.
Ibanez takes one off the outside corner.
You know, there are no fingers pointed there. He didn't mention which personalities wouldn't fit in which clubhouse, but that's kind of a fun guessing game.
Well, I mean, there is a difference in the two clubhouses. There really are. You have a very loose but workman-like clubhouse with the Phillies. 2-0 the count. Pelfrey taking a stroll in front of the mound. Ryan Howard hoping that Ibanez can pick him up. He popped out in this inning.
Staying away from Ibanez as opposed to Howard and Utley, who he's pounding in.
Might have seen some of those balls that Raul has pulled down the right field line. His 8th career grand slam on this homestand. That one just hit the black on the outside part of the plate. It's 2-1. Boy, Santos pulled that one back.
Yeah, when the catcher moves his hand like that, usually he doesn't think it's a strike.
Broken bat looper into center field, a base hit. 1 run scores. Rounding third, scoring from second is Utley, and the Phillies are on the board. Let the Raúls loose here at Citizens Bank Park. It's now 5-2 New York.
Well, there's a new guy that fit right into the Phillies clubhouse. Wow, what a good at bat that was. And it looked like he threw him an off-speed pitch, too, 3-1, and he got out front a little bit and broke his bat. Let's see what it is. What he does here. Yeah, it's a breaking ball, and you see right off the end of the bat, and Reyes can't make the play. 2 runs, and boy, 2 out runs are huge in the course of a ball game, and stop a little of that Mets momentum there with a 2-run hit, a 2-out hit, and you're still alive.
And how about the base running by Worth to get over to third? So runners on first and third now with 2 away for Pedro Feliz.
Get one more here.
Feliz 0 for 1. He bounced to third his last time up. Takes one outside, ball 1.
Pelfrey's throwing a lot of pitches.
Sure is.
Well, for a guy with a 5-0 lead, he is not comfortable.
Well, he had a 5-0 lead in his last start. He threw 95 pitches and didn't last into the out of the 6th inning.
28 balls, 32 strikes. Not good.
2-0 the count to Feliz.
I mean, they just have to be very upset with what they're watching in the Mets dugout. You know, there you see both these guys are not throwing well tonight, but he has a 5-run lead. Pelf had a 5-run lead, and he's all over the guy with the lead should throw strikes.
Well, this starting staff for the Mets, an ERA of 5.09. 2-0 hit foul. It's 2-1. You know, we've talked about this Phillies starting staff and how much it struggled this year. They're last in the league in ERA at 6.35, and you know the Mets starting staff is basically in the same area at 14th.
Yeah, other than Santana, their guys have really struggled. Santana doesn't struggle. He's just different.
Well, Feliz takes one inside, and he runs the count into a good hitter's count. It's 3-1.
Same thing as Jason Worth. 3-1. You do not have to swing here and get antsy. All the pressure's on Pelfrey.
Feliz, the Phillies' best hitter with runners in scoring position. He's at .444 this year. Ibanez goes. The pitch is hit toward the vacant hole at second, and it's another run for the Phillies. Ibanez is going to third, and the Phillies are now within 2. How about that? Pedro Feliz going the opposite way.
Yeah, it looked like Cora broke really early, too, and left that hole wide open. Wonder about Ibanez going there on a 3-1 pitch, whether they sent him or he just decided to go. It's not a running count. 3-2s are running counts. 3-1s sometimes. Now look, here's where he is. See, oh, look how early he broke. He breaks really early. Boom, and all that area is open.
And Ibanez just kept on going over to third. All smiles for Pedro Feliz.
Yeah, you know, with the runner going there, that makes that play because that's right at it. Cora.
So it's a ball game again. The Phils are down 2. Runners on first and third for Chris Coast. The 8th man to bat in this inning. And he hits one on the hands, a spinner to third. And the inning is over. But the Phillies do get 3. They sent 8 men to the plate in the inning. 3 base hits, couple of walks, and the scoring began with Raul Ibanez just the bat on the ball. It's 5-3. Phillies down 2. On your computer with MLB.tv, the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week, live on your computer. Catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Phillies.com, where baseball is always on. Well, Sarge joins us here at the top of the 4th inning. And Sarge, it's nice that we have a ball game again for you as you enter the booth.
That is nice. Glad you scored some runs. Clutch hitting, Raul Ibanez, and you got to give credit too to Phillies. He's really been driving the ball, which enables Ibanez to get good pitches.
Yeah, how about that? The Cora moves over to cover second, and Phillies hits it right through where he was.
Yeah, bad move.
Jose Reyes leads things off here in the top of the 4th. Now, Sarge likes to call this inning a shutdown inning, and it's probably never been truer than tonight's. 2-0 the count to Reyes.
Well, you need him to find some consistency with his pitches. Start getting some easy outs, ground balls, or maybe some pop-ups. These guys been squaring the ball up. Every time you look up, they're in a hitting count. 2-0, 2-1.
Oh, and it's getting to that point for Mike Pelfrey, too, which is a good sign for the Phillies.
Yeah, he's been pounding those lefties in with that hard fastball.
2-1 is at the knees for a strike, and it's 2-2 to Reyes. Reyes is grounded to first. He has a sacrifice fly. Chan-Ho Park is trying to settle in if he can with his 75th pitch here in the 4th inning. And a line drive right at Chase Utley. 1 away. So Citizens Bank Park, which is going to be sold out this entire weekend with the Mets in town. That is the site, game 1 of this 3-game series. In this rivalry, which has taken on a brand new scope over the last couple seasons. Along with Gary Matthews, I'm Tom McCarthy. And here's Alex Cora, who's 1 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Well, that's a good sign. And the fact that Park starts him off with a strike, was able to get Reyes for the first out. He wasn't doing a whole lot of that in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, if you can get those early strikes, you can get those hitters to swing at balls maybe out of the zone or offer it some bad pitches.
Chopper right at Ryan Howard. And Park has the first 2 outs in an inning for the first time in this game.
I just want to kind of catch his breath and start getting some confidence on his pitches that he's throwing. Just been missing, maybe a little bit off of there, but they're missing. You end up walking batters, and they end up scoring.
Well, do you think he's pitching tight?
It's hard to say. Well, once first home run that was hit, that has a tendency to make you a little bit tight. Murphy hit one out on him, which was a fastball that was in, but it wasn't completely in. Pelfrey pitching his fastball, they're either in off the plate a little or it's a ball.
Off the foot of Murphy, and it's 0-2. He's got that shin guard on his right leg, and that ball looked like it missed the shin guard.
Well, we've seen that happen so many times before. It just seems to elude that shin guard, hit you either lower or hit you right there on the side. It was a little bit above.
Last pitch is high, so it's 1-2 to Murphy.
His fastball has been pretty decent. He's thrown at 91, just bad location.
After the first inning, his fastball's velocities were better.
And when you're not around that plate, then the hitter's not going to offer at the ball. Therefore, it's going to be difficult to swing at your breaking pitch.
Park just asked Chris Coste to hold up before he threw the ball back to the mound. Not sure if he was trying to wipe some sweat from his forehead or if something bothered him as he threw that pitch.
Well, both pitchers have been sweating. It's a little humid downstairs. Plus, they're the ones that's moving all the time.
That one didn't come back. It just barely missed the inside corner. It's 3-2 now to Murphy.
That's a good pitch, however.
Beltran waits on deck. Chopper toward first, and it's handled by Ryan Howard. Park is there to cover, and it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the fourth. 5 in a row retired by Chan Ho Park. The Phillies will have Park in the top of the order, the bottom of the fourth. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF-NOW. And by Jeep. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be. Last of the fourth inning. Phillies are down 2, and Chan Ho Park leads it off against Mike Pelfrey. Park popped out to second, his only time up. Let's see if the Phillies can carry that momentum from the last inning against Pelfrey into this bottom of the fourth inning.
I'll tell you, that Park takes a pretty healthy cup. He has 1 home run, only 167, but he doesn't do a lot of bailing at the plate.
Well, in the last ball game, He homered against the Marlins, and then as the game went on, he hit Cameron Maybin with a pitch, after he had given up a couple of runs, and then they threw at him. I asked him, I said, did you realize where John Baker was sitting behind the plate? He goes, oh, I realized it, all right. And I said, you were able to get out of the way with that. He said, it's a good thing I didn't get hit. And I think he meant not that he would have been hurt,
right,
but that it may have changed how he reacted.
Right, it definitely would have, because as hard as that pitch was thrown and between his legs, but he showed me something. He stayed right in there the next pitch. A lot of times you'll have that foot going over toward third base. He stayed right in there.
He's making Pelfrey work here at the bottom of the fourth inning.
Got a feeling he's not the kind of guy you maybe want to charge running there to the mound at all if things go wrong.
Well, I think that's what he was trying to tell me.
Exactly.
He broke his bat and he flies one to left field. And there's one away. So with one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Hey, last night, Shane Victorino and Ryan Howard headed to the bowling lanes to benefit the Philadelphia Futures. There's Big Ryan. His teammates were there. Chase bowling as well. A little spin on that one. And look at Sarge. Look at that form. Oh
boy.
Cole Hamels was there as well.
I just got to tell you, you never know. You never know where the camera's going to be.
Well,
but could tell by the form I have bowled before.
Oh, you could tell by the form that you could bowl. You had bowled before.
You know what? It's been a while.
That's not what came to mind first.
It's been a while, but I did find my stroke. Although I will say the lane 4 that we were bowling in had a little bit too much oil on it for me.
Maybe some wax.
Well, and it was my hook wasn't hooking. Just wasn't. It was sliding a little bit.
Well, I asked Shane today before the ball game. Jimmy Rollins was there as well before he went to the Sixers game last night. He runs the count to 3-0. I asked Shane, I said, so who bowled the best? He said, I don't even know. He said, I bowled a 136. I said, oh, so Sarge beat you. And his eyes got wide. And he said, what did he bowl? I said, 137. He goes, yeah, he beat me by 1.
Yeah, I told you 130, though, didn't I?
No, you said 137.
Well, let's keep the story the way it is.
Well, that again was the bowling and billiards competition, and look at that form.
Oh boy!
And your hat stayed on too. I'm very proud of you.
Oh yeah. Oh boy! I tell you.
Was it fun though?
It was a good time. We raised some money, and
for the Philadelphia Futures
one
program.
of the good things though about the Philly players, they do come out and they support each other, so it's a good thing.
It was a busy day yesterday on that off day for a lot of the players. Jamie Moyer received the honorary degree at St. Joseph's with his wife Karen. As J-Roll draws a throw over to first. Talked about Cole Hamels and his wife Heidi donating money to some of the schools in the Philadelphia area. In particular, yesterday, $50,000 to John B. Stetson Middle School in the Kensington section of the city. And there is Cole. And by the way, the update on Cole is that he will throw a bullpen tomorrow to test that ankle. He long tossed today. And apparently he's still feeling pretty good, so the hope is he'll make that start on Tuesday. We'll see.
Well, they need him. Looks like he was just getting ready to get on a roll and start throwing the way that he should. That's borderline fastball. It's up and in, and that's what I'm saying. Pelfrey, he's been pounding those lefties in. 2 seamers, 4 seamers. He's gotten it up to as high as 96. And that was to Utley, really getting up when he faces Utley.
It's the third throw over to first to chase Jimmy back to the bag. Jimmy has stolen only 1 base. He's been caught 1 time. Good news is, though, he's starting to get on base to attempt those steals.
Yeah, he still needs to get on a little bit more consistently, although he's starting to hit the ball a little bit harder. That fastball still pecking at that off-speed pitch.
0-1, popped foul. I don't know how Victorino got a hold of that ball.
Tommy Hawk. Like that was a cutter running in on him. exactly where the pitch is. It's up in the zone, and you can see Victorino trying to get on top of that ball, but you just want to hit it, leave it up there. It'll go a long way.
Well, the count remains 0-2 to Shane.
Pelfrey using a slide step, meaning that he's not picking his foot up very much in order to hold J-Ro over at first base. Use that slide step. It's difficult to get a jump on that pitcher. They'll use two different type of moves, their regular move and that slide step that gets there a little bit quicker.
A little dancing by Victorino, and it's 1-2.
So he barely picked up his foot on that, and making sure again the ball is inside and inside off the plate.
So Shane down on the count 1-2, trying to keep this offense rolling. They scored 3 in the third, trying to add some more here in the fourth inning. Another throw over, and diving back is Rollins.
Pelfrey, he knows J-Ro will go. Any of them will go if they get that jump, but he's been pretty difficult to run on, to get a jump on.
Oh, Jimmy was leaning. They got him. Tatis did a nice play scooping that ball up, and Jimmy is retired for the second out. It's going to go down as a caught stealing 1-3-6.
That's one of the reasons they tell pitchers, hold the ball, and you get that runner. You can see he had him dead to right. J-Ro know that he just knew he couldn't get back, and then he just says, okay. Well, a lot of times better you almost do it that way because you don't want to take a chance on getting hurt as long as you know that, again, you can't get back to that bag.
Well, that would have changed the way this inning looked, too. The pickoff already does, but that pitch right there by Pelfrey, who knows, it would have been the same one as it got away from Santos. It's 2-2.
Yeah, a lot of times when a player of his magnitude is not really hitting the way that he should, he tries to maybe do some things that just can't get done and trying to steal the base.
Routine play for Reyes, and the inning is over. So the Phillies get a base runner. Rollins is caught stealing for the second out, and now we have completed 4. We head to the 5th. It's 5-3 in favor of the Mets. Watch that form, everybody. Beltran greets Chan Ho Park with a pull shot into the gap. to begin the top of the 5th inning. And he's going to be at second base with a stand-up double. That's a 13-game hitting streak for Beltran. And after a very comfortable 4th, it started out a little uncomfortable for Chan Ho Park here in the top of the 5th inning.
Fastball right out of the chute, but look where it is, almost right down the middle. 3, 4, 5 hitters aren't going to miss that pitch. See Victorino getting the ball in. No throw at all for Beltran at second base.
So now Park has to work with a runner in scoring position. This is kind of like the first 3 innings for Chan Ho Park. And let's see if he can battle back here. He allowed 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. And Charlie Manuel is not going to waste any more time. Chad Durbin's up and loosening in the pen. After the offense fights so hard to get back in the game, you can't allow the bleeding to start again.
Well, it just has a tendency to deflate your club. Not that they're giving up at all. It just makes them know that you got to work that much harder. As you see Wright trying to hit the ball to the right side. You can get over on a ground ball. You can get over on a long fly ball. There's several different ways you can get that runner over. But you won't see guys like Wright trying to bunt to get him over, especially in the 5th inning or so.
Wright's numbers with runners in scoring position. Mets as a team are 8th in the league in batting average with runners in scoring position at .252. Runner goes, 1-2 is hit back toward the middle. A base hit for David Wright. Beltran's going to walk home from second. And the Mets now lead at 6-3. So second run that Beltran has scored. And it's the second base hit of the night for David Wright. So Chad Durbin continues to loosen up in the bullpen for the Phils. And Chan Ho Park will face Ryan Church with still nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. He starts him off with a breaking ball for a strike, so it's 0-1. Well, Ruben Amaro Jr. is with us here in the broadcast booth here at the top of the 5th inning. Phillies are trailing at 6-3. And Ruben, I know it's been a busy day with everything going on with Brad Lidge and Cole Hamels and Carlos Ruiz out on another rehab assignment. What's your thoughts on what Chan Ho Park's done so far tonight?
Well, he's been struggling with his command, obviously, and anytime you have this many walks and put yourself in a position to have to throw strikes and use the middle of the plate, you're going to be in trouble. So he's going to have to make some pitches.
You know, Ruben, it's been a lot of other teams seem to have that bad location on maybe a lot of walks throughout the league, almost an epidemic itself, if you will. The way that the pitchers aren't being able to hit the corners, or not even hit the corners, get the ball over the plate. I mean, is there anything that can be done about it other than continually just working hard?
I think the guys just have to work in the pen, and when they get their throw days and their sidelines, they just have to work on being more consistent with their deliveries. And I know Dubes will be working with all our guys, but yeah, it's pretty clear our starters have not pitched as well as we'd like to have them be pitching, and they're going to have to step it up and pitch better if we're going to stay in games. We need to eat up innings with these guys, and if they keep forcing our hand on in the bullpen, it's going to make things tough.
There is Rich Doobie. Rich was spending a lot of time today with Brad Lidge. From a distance, Ruben, it looked like Brad was throwing the ball pretty good.
Yeah, the ball was coming out of his hand very well. He was throwing to Mick Bellmeyer today in the bullpen, and working on some mechanics and doing some things that to take some of the pressure off of his knee, and I think things went quite well for him.
2-2 the count to Ryan Church here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 run is in, and it holds 2-2. So the thought is, Brad was talking before the ball game today, the thought is see how he is tomorrow and then maybe make at least a preliminary decision on what to do with him.
Well, I think he felt good enough that at the very least that tomorrow he'd be ready to go. I don't unless something unforeseen were to happen, we think that he'll be ready to go tomorrow and to be able to pitch. We're hopeful that he doesn't have any more inflammation, and we'll move forward.
Is that a sigh of relief?
It will be when he gets back on the mound and he's throwing. Like to have him out there pitching, obviously, and you know, it just changes the dynamic of our bullpen, which has already been changed by the fact that we lost J.C. Romero. But you know, we got to get our guys lined up the proper way.
Runner goes. The pitch is sliced toward the gap in left center field. Here comes Ibanez, makes the sliding grab. What a play by Raul Ibanez. All right, Ruben, that's the perfect segue. I know that people have talked about this signing, particularly over the last couple of weeks. I think this is the surprising thing. His defense has been outstanding. Yeah,
you got to give credit to Victorino, seeing him. He goes around him and then lets Ibanez come in all the way. He is fearless, especially at the plate, but even throwing his body up against the wall and catching balls. Type of players that you like to have on your team.
He's an aggressive player, and he loves to play baseball. He's a baseball player. That's what you know, when we first had discussions with him. When I first was introduced to Raul, it was really about this guy wanting to play baseball, wanting to be a winner, and that's ever so important for us to continue to bring players that where the priority is to win.
Well, he's made 2 catches tonight, that one and the one going back earlier in the ball game. That it shows an awful lot of range with the way he's able to, get to the ball.
Clearly, he moves a lot better than I thought he would. He's actually playing. Frankly, we had him as a slightly below average defender, but he's clearly shown to us that this is a guy who can play defense, and he's got a big ballpark to deal with out there in Seattle, and that may have a lot to do with it. And the way our ballpark is situated, he doesn't have to cover quite as much ground, although he has moved quite well out there. It kind of reminds me of you, Sarge.
Well, when you have a great center fielder, it makes it a little bit easier to play out there. Thanks a lot, Ruben.
Yeah.
Sarge always finds a way to get Gary Maddox into the conversation where he says you have to have a great center fielder.
Let me tell you something. The guy was just so good, you didn't have to worry about anything but the lines.
Yeah,
it makes life a little easier.
Oh, you telling me?
So you say that Raul is happy that Shane's in center field?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it goes hand in hand. They know what ground you can cover, and it does make it easy.
That was a close pitch there. The count is 1-1. There is Shane. Shane's made a couple of very good plays these last few ball games here in center field. And he's made a couple of good plays even tonight, cutting a couple of balls off in both of the alleys.
Yeah, that's what that speed does for you.
Unfortunately, they're having to cut them off.
Well, as I said that, it kind of jumped into my mind, that too. Runner goes, pitch is taken inside. The throw by Coast is in time. Oh, what a good throw by Chris Coast. Boy, that had the perfect tail on it to get right back into the base path.
Well, sure did. He had a quick release on the ball, and right there on the bag, what Chase had to do was just actually put his glove down. You can see where the throw is, just right there. And that's what you want your second baseman to do. Stay right on the bag. Don't go out and reach out and get it. Bam, and he's out. Nice throw, Coach. Let's see. Getting the job done behind the plate.
3-1 the count to Tatis. All right, let's go back to the pitching a little bit. Cole, long toss today, and we'll get a chance to maybe throw a bullpen tomorrow. Is that the hope?
Well, he threw yesterday and threw quite well. Felt fine. There's still some information in there. We're going to have him throw a bullpen tomorrow and see how that goes. And then we'll have to do some agility work with him, because the biggest concern is him having to move around out there and cover the bag and field bunts and those sorts of things. So we got to make sure that he's going to feel comfortable enough. If not, then we're going to have to push him back and perhaps skip a start and move forward. We'll start thinking about our options there.
Well, that ball is lined down the line, and Worth cuts it off on the slide, but Tatis is going to have his second base hit of the evening, second double of the inning for the Mets. And they've got a runner in scoring position with 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning. Well, I guess that's the good news part of it too, Ruben, is that if you have to push him back for 1 start, it is only 1 start.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to drift into much more than that. It's unfortunate. He's had a tough time getting kind of unglued here. Right. So he's got the line drive off the shoulder, and then he twists his ankle, and he's actually been throwing the ball extremely well.
Really well, yeah.
We saw Cole Hamels that we're accustomed to over the last couple of starts, and his arm speed's coming back, and he's getting his angle, and he's getting the separation on the fastball and the changeup, and so it's unfortunate we don't have him on the mound, but yeah, that's part of the game. We got to deal with it.
Well, an intentional walk to Santos puts runners on first and second, and here comes Charlie Manuel, and that might be it for Chad Hope Park with the pitcher Mike Pelfrey due up. That doesn't usually come out unless there's a move to be made. Chad Durbin has been loosening up in the pen. And he just signaled to the bullpen, so that's going to be it for Chan Ho Park. So with 2 outs here at the top of the 5th inning, runners on first and second, Chan Ho Park's night is done. Chad Durbin will be the new pitcher. We'll be back after this. Clubhouse reactions on Sloan Toyota presents Phillies postgame live after the game only on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, top of the 5th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. 1 run is scored in this inning, and the Mets have 2 runners on. And Charlie Manuel is wasting no time, even though the pitcher is due up, to go get Chad Durbin to get this final out. It's not often that you see a pitching change at this point, Sarge, but I think Charlie's thinking, I got to stop the bleeding, and even though the pitcher's up, I got to make sure I get somebody else in there.
Yeah, stop the bleeding, and he knows this game is still manageable. If Phillies can come back, they'll make another run, but you can't get too far away. I'm going to try and stay in that grand slam distance, and they are. 3 runs to make up. Not a lot of runs in this ballpark.
So the batter is Pelfrey, who is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly and an RBI. And he takes the first pitch low from Chad Durbin, who has pitched real well of late. Last outing, he went 3 2/3 in relief of Cole Hamels, allowed 1 run and a home run by Adam Dunn. That was it. And it's 1-1.
He's getting that downward motion on his fastball. He's got some tilt on that breaking ball, on that slide piece that he throws, and he's keeping it out of the middle of the plate.
Oh, little looper into right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Tatis is around third. He's going to score. Over to third is Santos, and it's 7-3 New York.
Chad had been much sharper because of, I think a lot of it had to do with some of the work that he did not get in spring training. He really didn't have his arm speed and his location. And he made a pretty good pitch there. The guy flicked that out there, but his arm speed and as Sarge said, his slider had been much better. So hopefully he can get out of his jam.
See where this pitch was there. You can see it kind of hung up just a little bit. That was more of a flat kind of a slider instead of that little sharp slider that would have broken a little bit further.
So the Phillies down 4. Here's Reyes. And he takes one upstairs. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Ruben Amaro Jr. is joining us here in the booth. Here at the top of the 5th inning. Phillies trail at 7-3. Reyes tonight is 0 for 2 with an RBI and a sacrifice fly. That was in the second. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. We talked about the catching situation, the fact that Chris Coste threw a runner out in this inning. Carlos Ruiz, I feel like this is the injury report with Ruben Amaro Jr. Carlos Ruiz is close to coming back.
It's because it is.
Carlos did quite well in his 6 innings yesterday in the Valley. He's catching again. Hopefully get through 9 today, and then we'll reevaluate him sometime tomorrow morning and see how things go. Hopefully we can get him back here. We've missed him. You know, when you're missing your #1 catcher, that's a big deal, and it can't be overstated. That when you don't have the guy that's running your staff behind the plate, it does make a difference.
Well, you know what? That's a good point, because pitchers really feel comfortable with guys they like to throw to.
No question about it. He's really emerged as a guy that the pitchers really trust and believe in, and you know, no disrespect to either Coste or Marson, because you know, under the circumstance they've done a good job, but certainly the pitchers feel more comfortable throwing to their #1, and you know, we're hopeful that we can get him back on the field.
Pelfrey was going on that 3-2 pitch, so he's back at first, and we'll do it again with runners on first and third and 2 outs here at the top of the 5th inning. See what Reyes has done in this ball game. It should be routine play for Chase Utley, and it is, and the inning is over. But a couple more runs scored for the Mets. They strand 2. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Charlie Manuel's offense going to have to come back once again. Favorite has put together a very strong first month of the season while earning the respect from the locals. The Phillies left fielder has patrolled his position admirably, and his bat has been delivering in every clutch situation. Ibanez has fared well at his initiation, and he has done it in grand style. This early success story is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, they're trying to fire up the Phillies offense now that they're down 4 here at the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 7-3 New York, and it'll be 3-4 and 5 for the Phils. Against right-hander Mike Pelfrey. Ruben Amaro Jr. is spending another half inning with us here in the booth. We'll see if Chase Utley can get things rolling here for the Phillies. Ruben, let me ask you about this rivalry. I mean, you've been around the Phillies organization for a number of years. It seemed like there was always a rivalry between these two clubs, but it's just heated up at such a pace that I think it's great for baseball.
Well, you know, I think what's happened, Tom, is that we've, you know, basically the two clubs have gotten very good at the same time, and so when you have those two rivalries, two rivals, getting good at the same time and battling for the division at the same time, and with quality players. I mean, when you talk about David Wright and Jose Reyes and Delgado and Beltran, and then the guys that we have on our side of the field, in Howard and Utley and Rollins, etc. You know, it makes for good baseball. It makes for good drama. But guys just like to play the game, and I think they probably get a little charged up when they play against the rivals.
Yeah, I think this year, too, for me, since they have won it and the world champions, it seems that every club is kind of getting up to play against them and feel like it's a feather in their cap if they beat the champs.
Naturally, when they feel they can beat the world champs and feel a little bit better about themselves.
Well,
no question about it. You get the automatic bullseye.
Yeah.
Well, you see the last 3 seasons, it's been pretty even. The Phillies were 8-11 last year against the Mets, but the year before, 12-6, 7-11. Excuse me, 7-11 last year, 12-6 in 07, 8-11 in 2006, so 27-28. It's within 1 game of 500. And this, of course, is the first of 18 meetings between these two teams. Ryan Howard, the batter, with 1 away. Well, we just saw Chase fly out to left field, and his start to the year has been a pretty welcome sight.
Yeah, it's been great to get him on the field and playing, and obviously, at least right now, no ill effects from his hip surgery, and he's playing just as hard and doing things exactly as we expect Chase would do them.
Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike to Ryan Howard. Now we've been talking. Excuse me, Sarge. I'm sorry. We've been talking about Ryan's defense, Ruben, for this first month of the year. When you see a guy who has his ability at the plate work as hard as he did to get his defense right, or at least to a point where, boy, it's even a little above average right now the way he's playing. I mean, that's got to make you feel good when you see what he's been able to do.
That's outstanding. You got to give him a lot of credit because he really wanted to complete his game, and I think he was embarrassed by the fact that he wasn't playing as well as I think he felt he could defensively, and so he worked very hard to get his body together, get some of his agility back, and did some things along those lines. But additionally, he really asked for Sam Perlaza to come down and work with him early before spring training. We had him working several days a week prior to spring training starting, and then on into spring training, and he's continued to work with him. And there's no question that the results are there. He's throwing the ball much better, much more accurately, moving his feet better, and overall, you can see much more confidence in him at the bag.
Well, that's what you like. You like players wanting to do it on their own and getting the help, and he has looked 100% better this year.
It's interesting. There's just a few players out there who've elevated their game. You talk about guys like Ozzie Smith, who was a tremendous fielder and then made himself an outstanding hitter, offensive player. Same way with Omar Vizquel. I mean, the superstars in this game want to complete their abilities as players, and it's great to see Ryan dedicate himself to doing that.
Well, he works out a walk with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Man, it's great. That's a great thought, because look at Pujols. What he was able to do. Pujols was a jack of all trades when he began, and now has made himself into a Gold Glove first baseman.
No question. Guys like Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs came up as a very below average third baseman, and he made himself a Gold Glover. He had a Gold Glove 1 or 2 years. So you got to give a lot of credit to those guys who want to elevate their game and work on the things that that really are a shortcoming early in their careers.
Jason Worth, the batter. That one pulled toward third. Could be 2. Worth is tough to double up, and he isn't doubled up there as he's able to hustle up the first base line and beat that throw. So 2 away. Talk about a guy that can play some defense. Keith Hernandez could play some defense at first base, couldn't he?
Oh, boy, he'd like to get that bunt, throw the ball to third base. Again, he was fearless. Good hitter. Won the MVP. I think, what year was that in?
1979. He shared it with
Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell?
Yep.
It was Dave Parker. Willie
Stargell. Pops.
I didn't like when he came into town. I remember bat boy. He was playing St. Louis, and oh man, and the Mets. I mean, he was outstanding.
Well, 2 outs now for Raul Ibanez. Worth is on first, and the Phillies have gotten within 2. Now the Mets lead it by 4. Need a little jump start again here by Ibanez with a 2-run single his last time up. Count is 1-0. Well, you brought up a good point about being a bat boy here with the Phillies, and now you're the general manager of the Phillies. So you went from picking up Sarge's helmet, and you truly did pick up Sarge's helmet.
I was picking up other things too, unfortunately. Sad to say.
Bouncer to the middle, Cora with a nice play, and the out is recorded at second base. So with that, Ruben Amaro is no longer picking up Sarge's helmet or anything else. Ruben, thanks for coming on.
No problem, guys.
All right.
Okay. Let's get some
We'll
runs.
be back for the top of the sixth, and hopefully some runs in the bottom of the sixth here at Citizens Bank Park. That's Memorial Day. The Fanatic is serving some Hatfield Philly Frank dogs right now. Order your tickets by logging on to Phillies.com. Sarge did everything he could to try to get the Fanatic's attention, but hot dogs just weren't flying up here to the press box.
No, Ruben Amaro made a real good point about the starting pitching, that they have to go deeper in the game in order to save the bullpen, and not only that, the guys will be much stronger.
Well, Brett Myers went 6 innings on Wednesday night, but Cole Hamels, because of the injury, went 4 1/3. The night before that, Joe Blanton went 4 1/3, and now tonight, Chan-Ho Park goes 4 2/3.
Yeah, it's just not going to get it done, and before long, they're going to have everything in unison and going together. They're hitting, along with the pitching, along with the defense. The defense has still been stellar.
Alex Cora takes one outside. Cora is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Chad Durbin in his last outing went 3 2/3 in relief of Cole, and he allowed just 1 run. He's going to get the first out here as Chase Utley calls off Ryan Howard.
Boy, there's a good cutter right in on the hands. Cora not able to get those hands extended. Well, watch where this pitch goes there. He's set up there and he's asking for it in. And look where it goes inside. He's trying to get his hands pulled in, just not able to do it. That's what you call tying a hitter up.
I thought Ruben made a good point, though, about Durbin and the fact that he didn't pitch that much during spring training, and now he's starting to get those innings under his belt, and he's getting his touch back. You could see it more with his location than anything else.
Well, you like that, again, when they're not just out over the plate, and I keep saying that because it's just so easy to hit the ball, especially flat sliders, balls out over the plate that are belt high. Those same balls that are down lower, you're not going to get as much damage. They're certainly not going to leave the ballpark consistently like the ones that are near the belt.
Again, he came inside, and Murphy pops this one up to left. And they're 2 away. So 2 quick outs here at Citizens Bank Park at the top of the 6th inning. It is Raul Ibanez's area right there, that left field area, and the fans have fallen in love with him. He gets a reaction every time he does something, whether it be catch a pop-up walk, get a base hit, a home run.
Now, these are the type of fans, too, that you can't just tell them what a player can do. They're like from Missouri. You got to show them. When you come here and you show them that you can play, they get right on your side. And when you're clutch hitting like that, boy, oh boy, oh boy. When you start off bad, it's just the opposite. I mean, they'll boo you before you even get pine tar on your bat.
Did you say just like Missouri?
Isn't that where it's the show me state?
It is. That was really impressive.
You better ask somebody. I mean, hey, you know, start listening up here to what I'm saying. Yeah. Did I just say Missouri? Yes, sir.
Well, we know one thing, that Sarge can read the license plates as he's driving along the road.
Says show me state.
Beltran draws his third walk of the night. He's been on base all 4 times. And with 2 away, David Wright will be the batter. There's only been one 1-2-3 inning for Phillies pitching. That was in the 4th. David Wright has walked. He's doubled. Got an RBI. Also has singled in this game. Singled his last time up.
David, good hitter. Ended up winning that silver bat. Or did he win the gold glove? I think he did win the gold glove for sure, because I was thinking that I didn't think he would have actually won it. He had a lot of different errors. He makes a lot of good plays. More offensive player last year, however.
Carlos Beltran draws a couple throws. He's back diving. See what his career numbers are. 498 RBIs for David Wright.
Yeah, he's consistent. He drives in runs, drives in big runs, and then he's one of those players you have on your team that hits in 7th, 8th, 9th inning.
Beltran goes. The pitch is a strike. Coast dropped the ball, but really had no chance to try to throw Beltran off. That's his second stolen base of the year.
I think even if he catches it clean, and you can see Coach, hey, keep an eye on him, because he'll run. It doesn't matter whether or not it's 1 out or 2 outs. See how he lost it in transferring it, but don't think he would have had Beltran. He had a good jump, and Beltran above average runner. One of the better switch hitters in the league.
Two balls and 2 strikes the count. Coast blocks that one. It keeps it in front of him. Mets have scored in every inning except for the 4th, and here in the 6th inning.
Pelty driving in that run on that slider breaking ball, that was huge.
The fact that Pelfrey's got 2 RBIs, that's been a big part of the offense for New York.
Sacrifice fly. I thought he hit that ball pretty good. Almost had a chance to get out of the ballpark. Ibanez going back and catching that.
Hot shot toward third. Nice play by Phillies. Boy, he's a vacuum at times over there. The inning is over. That ball was smoked off the bat of David Wright, and very casually Pedro Phillies retires him for the last out here at the top of the 6th inning. Phillies will lead things off as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Heavy dealers. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. Well, the young fans are hanging in there. And again, this is usually the time of the ballgame that the Phillies offense begins to erupt. Pedro Feliz has been erupting the whole year. He's got a couple hits tonight as he leads off the sixth with a single right up the middle.
Boy, he is just looking so good at the plate, hitting balls not only up the middle, to right field, driving the balls. And again, he's keeping that front shoulder in there, not bailing at all. Now watch this stroke here. You can't do that where that pitch was. That's a good pitch that he hit, driving that ball up the middle.
So Feliz looks like he's fully healed from that back problem that bothered him most of last year. And he's on first now for Chris Coast, who singled his first time up. He's trying to mount a rally. They've had chances against Pelfrey.
Now, one of the things he's been able to do is consistently get that ball inside, and he's gotten some balls called inside. Therefore, he keeps going in there.
Chopper to third. Wright has it. He's going to try for second. He's got one. And Coast is able to leg it out. And there's one away. Well, the Dodgers come to town Tuesday, May 12th at 7:05. That's the first of this three-game series. It's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. They're in for three, 7:05, 7:05, and then Thursday, the 14th at 1:05. It's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. And it's a Modell Sporting Goods Senior Stroll the Bases. For tickets, you can log on to Phillies.com. Dodgers were a team that Sarge rooted for growing up in Southern California. But then when he became a San Francisco Giant, they were the hated Dodgers. And, you know, baseball is made for these kind of rivalries between the Phillies and the Mets. You know, you had a number of teams that you were rivals with. What was that like?
Oh, I mean, awesome. You get up on those games there like no other. The same with the Cubs in St. Louis back in those days, where you end up having two teams that are kind of similar and you end up winning. That's when that rivalry really starts to get even more intense.
Greg Dobbs pitch hitting for the Phillies with one out. Takes a sinker on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1.
When you're growing up in that Giants organization, it's almost kind of like the Hatfield and the McCoys. You don't know why. It's just some dislike, and you know that you want to beat them at any cost.
Oh, and 2 the count to Dobbs. Well, that's the thing about it. This is Sarge's numbers with the Giants against the Dodgers. He had 247 for his career, but 8 home runs. I think that's the big number there. With the Cubs against the Cardinals, he did pretty well, hitting 278 with 4 home runs. I mean, which rivalry was more intense? Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Cardinals?
I think it would have to be the Giant Dodgers, because they'd actually would knock down the fence in left field. I mean, they would come tumbling down.
With a low on the count, 1-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, his son Junior likes to play the Yankees.
No, he didn't play yesterday, as a matter of fact, and
he was upset about that.
Oh, you know, and it's hard for me to tell him now that, you know, I mean, I do keep your head up, but he's healthy. Way to go! It's about time you hit a home run.
Dobbs is still alive as he fouls that one straight back. You know, I was looking at some of the other numbers, Sarge, when you were with the Phillies. You know, it was tough for me to figure out. I knew the Pirates were a Phillies rival.
Yeah.
You know, watching those games, and particularly in '83, the Pirates were in second place behind the Phillies. Cardinals were a big rival for the Phillies as well.
Yeah, I think back in that day, though, it would have been the Pittsburgh Pirates, especially with Stargell and Parker and, you know, lefty throwing against them, and it was really quite a sight, having lefty throw against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and especially Dave Parker. And I know that's one pitcher for sure that he didn't like. I don't know too many left-handers that did like Steve Carlton.
Well, you were with the Phillies and you faced the Cardinals, and they were battling with the Phillies in '81, '82, and he had some really good numbers against those Cardinals.
What is this, a setup?
No, it's not. You had very good numbers. You had over 300 and 400.
I never can tell when you're joking about it. You get a line drive there. Mr. Dobbs right up the middle. It's going to do him some good because, again, he pinch hitting and not hitting the ball the way that he could. Charlie got him into the game, and to hit that solid single, he'll start to get some things clicking there. Good pinch hitter. Good player to have on your team.
Oh, it's only the second pinch hit of the year for Dobbs, and it's a nice stroke.
Here it is again. That's another sinker, and he just missed one before. That's what you call an adjustment. Not trying to do too much. You can't pull that ball. He hit a solid single right up the middle.
Well, Jerry Manuel's out to the mound, and he has taken the baseball from Mike Pelfrey. So Pelfrey's night is done. He doesn't get out of the 6th inning, but he's going to leave with a 4-run lead. With one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Jimmy Rollins is the next batter to face Pedro Feliciano. He's the new pitcher for New York. Out of the strike zone, and it's 2-0. Sarge, are Jimmy's numbers from the right side a little deceiving because of the lack of at-bats against left-handed pitchers?
Yeah, and again, too, I'm also going on just how he's swinging, the contact that he's making. You see what he's done, career against Feliciano.
2-0 is a high chopper toward the hole. Reyes has got it, bobbles, throws to third, skips right off the leg of Chris Coast. Dobbs is in no man's land, and Dobbs is caught between second and third. Oh boy. Now Coast is caught between home and third. It's an errant throw handled by Santos, and the out is recorded at the plate.
Wow.
But Dobbs just wasn't aware. I mean, he's got to see Coast off the third base bag.
No doubt about it. And remember, scoreboard always dictate the chances that you're going to take when you're behind. And especially with the guys that you have that are coming up, don't want to be overzealous there on those bases. Now here's a bad throw here where guy can't even get to the handle on it. Right, he's going, making sure coach can't swing, and then you see exactly where the runner is, almost thrown away, but once they get him in that area, it's just about all over because he could have actually ran him right back to the bag where Dobbs was.
You know, Santos, the catcher, made a good play on that throw from Cora because that throw was between him and I guess Feliciano, and he just reached over and grabbed that throw and applied the tag.
Yeah, it could have actually went into the dugout as it hits the rail, not going in.
Well, now it's up to Victorino.
So real big out. I mean, just kind of changes the whole complexity of the situation. Now Victorino's got to come up with a 2-out base hit.
Well, the put out at the plate goes 2-4-2. They've charged an error to Reyes. Up high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think, well, he's got to have an error on the throw, obviously, but I thought that ball hit in the hole. He's going to have a difficult time in throwing J-Ro out at first base.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they scored it a fielder's choice and an E6.
Okay.
But
so that ball kind of hit in the hole.
Oh, and Beltran's going to take care of Victorino, and what was a rally in the making for the Phillies ends with some poor base running, and they strand 2. We've played 6 here at Citizens Bank Park. Mets lead at 7-3.
Well, right now it is a 7-3 game in favor of the New York Mets. Phillies kind of just ran themselves out of that inning. They had a potential to do some damage, but still 7-3. Murphy with that 2-run home run in the first inning to put them up 2-0. They had built up a 5-0 lead. Phillies got it to 5-3. Banez with a 2-run hit, but Reyes, Pelfrey, and Santos all have sacrifice flies in this game. Both starting pitchers not real effective here tonight, and Jay Happ on after Durbin, Tom.
Well, that is our Verizon Wireless game summary, and Happ is the 3rd pitcher for Charlie Manuel in tonight's game. And this is the 9th ball game for Jay Happ, an ERA of 4.05. And he's facing the bottom of the order, 6, 7, and 8 for New York. You know what? The bottom of the order really hasn't mattered that the Phillies are facing them, because the bottom of the order has provided some damage.
They certainly have provided some damage. Tatis has been on 3 times. Santos has been on a couple times, knocked in a run, and Pelfrey helped himself down there.
1-2 the count to Church. Church is 0 for 3. He's bounced into a double play. That was his first time up. Strikeout and a pop out. It's such a buildup for these games now between the Phillies and the Mets. And that buildup was kind of deflated right off the bat in the first couple innings.
Sure. Down 4-0, then 5-0. But to their credit, they came back, made it 5-3. But then the Mets tacked on, and we just said that inning you and Gary just were doing. They kind of ran themselves out of a potential inning there.
Sold out crowd. It's going to be sold out the entire weekend here in Philadelphia. 3-2 the count to Church.
These are kind of like those Yankees Boston games, and sometimes these teams have a little bit of a letdown after you have these series. That's happened with Boston and the Yankees over the years. I don't think you can let it get to that point.
Back toward the middle, under the glove and off the glove of Chase Utley, and Church is aboard. And they're going to charge an error to Chase Utley. That'll be the 4th error of the season for the Phillies.
Phillies have gone a long time without making an error in a game.
Well, these lucky fans of tonight's Citizens 7, they will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Well, this is game number 13 in this errorless stretch. Yep.
12 games without an error. It's amazing.
And it's only the 4th of the year. Phillies have been leading the National League and really Major League Baseball in fielding percentage.
Talked earlier about how you have to backhand a play like that. That Cora had done it the opposite way and gotten away with it, and that's what he's trying to do. There was backhanded, circle it, get something on it, but didn't come up with it.
Tatis, as Wills mentioned, has been on base 3 times. He's scored twice.
Here you go right here. Chase Utley fielding that the correct way by backhanding it, but he just didn't get the glove on the ground. That thing stayed low, and he doesn't make the play.
Yeah, it went under the glove and it kicked off his foot. At least that slowed it a little bit. See what Tatis has done tonight. Back in 1999, Fernando Tatis is a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. Hit 34 home runs. Only time in his career that he had more than 30 home runs. He had over 100 RBIs.
He hit the 2 grand slams in 1 inning right off Chano Park.
Runner goes, pitch is hit in the air toward left center field. Not deep. Ibanez has the grab, has a play maybe at first. The throw not in time. Church kind of realized it as he was at the second base pad.
Church came up a little bit lame there too at first base. A little bit concerned about him. He's had a lot of injury problems, mostly with concussions. Here he goes back in. Maybe he grabs anything. Not in that shot. A lot of times you'll see it grab the back of his leg on a play like that for a hamstring or quad on the front or something, but no. It looked like he was stretching when he got up there.
Yeah, he did.
Like something happened.
Here's Omir Santos with 1 out. And he takes a pitch on the inside corner, 0-1. Phillies have Utley, Howard, and Worth due up in the bottom of the 7th inning. And because of that, Pedro Feliciano is in the on-deck circle for New York.
Yep, with a 4-run lead, they want to keep the left-hander in the game. Might be a little bit tempting, though, if Santos were to get on base to run Gary Sheffield out there for a swing off this left-hander. 2 outs, a lot of times managers don't like to pinch hit with 2 outs. There's Sheffield. With 2 outs and a lead like that, because 2-out hits are so hard to get and you already have the lead.
Another throw over.
He's thinking about it. He's got a bat.
Sheffield just hit his 500th career home run.
He even buggy whips when he's sitting there practicing.
He's trying to get the timing down.
He's a buggy whipper.
Runner goes 0-1 is hit in the air to center field. Victorino scampers back. He's got it. And Church again will have to hustle back to first.
Church keeps running, keeps having to go back.
Well, this game will encore tonight at 1:30 a.m. on the Comcast Sportsnet, and tomorrow night at 10 on the Comcast Network. So, Wheels, in case you're looking to watch it, it's 1:30 a.m. on Comcast Sportsnet.
Thanks.
And then tomorrow night on the Comcast Network.
Okay. Let's skip the first few innings.
Here's Pedro Feliciano with 2 away. And takes that pitch outside. Feliciano as a hitter, 0 for 6. Does have 1 sacrifice and a couple strikeouts. 2-0.
Well, they're giving you an out right here. Just throw the ball over the plate. And J-Happ knows it. Players have trouble doing this because they know. I mean, this is an outstanding up there.
3-0.
He's just going to stand there now. You figure for at least 2 more.
Oh, boy. Oh. Ball 4, and Feliciano draws a 2-out walk, and the Mets have runners on first and second.
A lot of ugliness here tonight. This game is not pretty.
Now back to the top of the order for Jose Reyes, who's 0 for 3. A sac fly, his second time up. On the outside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1.
That's something. And it's just because you try and see the pitcher, J-Happ out here, he said, well, I got him out, just throw it over, and he couldn't throw him a strike.
Runners not being held on. Feliciano with a big lead off first. And that pitch up high. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jerry Manuel telling us it was a lot more important as far as he was concerned to have Feliciano out there with a 4-run lead than to bring up a pinch hitter with 2 outs.
Little looper. Here comes Pedro Feliz. Well, the walk to Feliciano does not hurt J-Happ. He gets out of the inning. He strands 2. So as we stretch here at Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies trail it by 4. It'll be Utley, Ryan Howard, and Jason Worth as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Answer. All right, Wheels, put your thinking cap on. Which 3 Phillies did the Mets select in the 1961 expansion draft?
Oh, I meant to look that up and I forgot.
No, you're not supposed to look it up. You're supposed to think about it off the top of your head.
Well, I didn't know it.
Lee Walls, Clarence Coleman, and Bobby Gene Smith.
Choo-choo Coleman.
Yep.
Oh. Bobby Gene Smith, an outfielder.
Log back onto Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
That helped make the Mets the worst team in the history of baseball in '62.
I don't think they were too far off at 63 either, were they?
Yeah, well, they weren't quite as bad.
Yeah. Chase Utley leads things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning against Pedro Feliciano.
Those are 2 years they played in the Polar Grounds.
0-2 the count to Chase. Well, we were talking about Whitey before. I mean, he played in 62 and, you know, he played pretty well.
Then he retired.
Then he just decided it was game over.
Retired and became a broadcaster with the Phillies in '63.
And didn't look back.
Never looked back.
Utley hits it in the air to right field. It's pretty deep. Church going back to the warning track to the wall. Gone! Oh, boy, did that one carry. Solo home run for Chase Utley. It's his 8th of the year. It's a 3-run ball game. There's some smiles in that Phillies dugout. Some smiles in the stands as well. And some smiles in Marlton, New Jersey, because Dolores McGuire, you've just won $100. Compliments of McDonald's.
See that breaking ball through Chase Utley was middle in. He kind of pulled his hands in towards his body and hit the fly ball to right that, as Tom said, just kept on going in this ballpark. 7th inning or later, look what he's done.
Well, all these guys, I mean, their numbers are fantastic in the 7th inning and later. Here's Ryan Howard. A bouncer right at Cora. And there's one away.
Feliciano just thrown him a nasty down and away breaking ball and couldn't get to. And then threw that one middle in. He got to that one.
Well, and you're talking about pulling his hands in. That's what, you know, to me, when he was able to do that, it didn't look like it had enough to get out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, they do carry some nights here. Here it is. You see, it's a hanger middle in, but he has to pull his arms in right there, and he doesn't get extended like you normally see on a home run.
But he got the bat head out where it needed to be.
Well, and he's so quick and so strong. It's like a golfer has that real quick finish with your hands like that and create all that club head speed. Well, that's what those kind of hitters do with bat speed, and you don't teach it.
1-1 the count to Jason Worth, who is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Jason last year led the league in home runs against lefties. Got tied up on that one.
Right now, you know, you don't need more homers. You need a rally. And, you know, it looked like Ryan Howard went up there and was swinging really hard, and now Worth swinging really hard. And the way the Phillies have won these games lately is beginning men on base, and then maybe somebody pop one.
It's a foul ball by Jason Worth, who was just trying to stay alive on a pitch outside and low. And it holds 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies as a team are hitting .281 against left-handers. There have been 15 games this year in which they have faced a lefty. They faced too many starting pitchers that were lefties.
Just haven't. There just aren't that many in the league. Because teams want to use him if they can. These guys have a great lefty, but he's not scheduled to go in this series. Santana.
Tied him up again, and Worth is down on strikes for the 2nd out. Well, there's still some season ticket plans that are available for purchase. Various plans to choose from, including 13 or 14 partial or 11-game Sunday plans. You get postseason ticket access when you purchase a Phillies season ticket. Also get tickets to the Mets and the Marlins series that are coming up. For tickets, you can log on to Phillies.com or call 215-463-5000. Some pretty good seats right there for those youngsters to peer in and watch this ball game. Abanez the batter. Raul has 2 RBIs tonight. And he's hit well against lefties this year already. 267. Last year, Raul hit over 300 against left-handers. And even though his signing made the Phillies left-handed dominant, he still felt like he could get enough against lefties. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Cardinals have defeated the Nationals 6-2. Todd Wellmeyer got the win. He's 2-2. A home run by Albert Pujols.
Talk about a surprise team.
Ibanez waves at a slider, and the inning is over. But a run by Chase Utley pulls the Phillies another run closer. We have played 7. Look at his swing by Chase. And he made it a 7-4 game. $947 Auto. By Chrysler. Employee Pricing Plus is now in its final month at your Chrysler dealer. Everyone gets our employee price, plus generous cash allowances. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Top of the 8th inning, Jay Happ. It is second inning of relief work. Chan Park started. He allowed 7 runs in 4 2/3. And 2 good pitches by Happ. And he's ahead of Alex Cora, 0-2. Good fastball. Cut out and missed, and there's one away. So Cora's retired. And J.J. Putz is the pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Mets. He is their 8th inning guy.
That was one of the things we talked about in the keys of the games, to stay away from the 8th and 9th with that guy and K-Rod. And unfortunately, that's where it is right now.
Daniel Murphy, the batter. Checks his swing. They appeal. No swings to the third base umpire, Lance Barksdale. And it's 1-0. Murphy is 1 for 4. He had a 2-run home run in the first. That deflated everything.
Hey, Tom, I'd like to thank the Honorable Benjamin Lerner, better known as Ben Lerner. Remember the other night we were talking about that Springsteen concert that I thought I'd seen at the Spectrum?
Well, you knew you had seen it.
And it was at Christmas time?
Yeah.
And it was not the E Street Band?
It was not.
It was the Devils and Dust tour without the E Street Band.
So no Clarence Clemens? No Max Weinberg?
I don't know. You got me with that. I don't. I'm just thanking Ben for that.
I just pushed it a little bit too far.
You sure did.
Ibanez over toward the line, and they're 2 away.
Now, I know who those guys are. I know you're talking about, but I don't know if they were there that night.
Well, we also know who these guys are for the New York Mets. Those are the free agents and players that have been traded for during this offseason. Puts in Sean Green, acquired from the Mariners. Francisco Rodriguez signed as a free agent. They're trying to fix that bullpen, which was so horrific last year and even the year before.
Well, they have some arms out there now. They got some strikeout potential in that bullpen. A lot of guys that throw over 90 miles per hour. And, you know, we'll see whether it works out for them or not, whether they have enough leads, et cetera, et cetera. A long way to go in the season. But they certainly, on paper, addressed their major problem the last couple years.
Carlos Beltran, the batter. And he fouls the 1-0 off the mask of Coase, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets bullpen has the lowest ERA in the National League at 3.22, well below the National League average. The Phillies were among the leaders last year in bullpen ERA, lowest bullpen ERA.
Look where it got them.
You know, to me, Wheels, not only because the Phillies won it last year, I just think it's the deciding factor for a lot of these close races.
In today's game, if you can't win if you can't have a lead and win after the 8th inning, you're done. Because the starters only go so far nowadays, and whether you like it or not, that's the way it is. And the bullpens affect the game one way or the other.
Beltran skies one to right, and Worth at the track makes the final out of this 8th inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. Nice job by Jay Happ. He retired 4 in a row. And the bottom of the 8th, it'll be the bottom of the order for the Phillies. Dodgers. It's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Also following the game, it's a Model Sporting Goods Senior Stroll the Bases. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Manny Ramirez and the Dodgers coming to town. Dodgers scoring a whole lot of runs. They lead the league in extra base hits. The Phillies are open for some extra base hits here as J.J. Putz is the new pitcher for the Mets. This is his 12th game, 1-2 with a 4.09 ERA. As Wheels mentioned before, this guy could bring it. He throws hard. But this year he has struggled somewhat with his command. You see the 6 walks in 11 innings. He is the former closer for the Seattle Mariners. He closed 40 games, saved 40 games in 2007. And he'll face Pedro Feliz to start the bottom of the 8th inning.
He's got a mid-90s fastball and a real good split. And that's why he was able to be such a successful closer, because he not only had a good fastball, he had that trick pitch, and he's a strikeout pitcher.
Feliz sends it in the air to shallow center. And there's one away.
Third pitch is a slider, and he threw one there.
On the last game against the Florida Marlins, Wednesday's game for the Mets, Johan Santana had a lead going into the latter portion of the game, and J.J. Putz blew the save in that ball game. And last year, the Mets bullpen, well documented. I mean, it was horrific.
Well, this is where Heilman would come in the game a lot of times.
Now he's coming in for the Cubs,
well,
right?
Yeah, and no offense to Aaron Heilman, but he'd come in the game at this point, and the Phillies would think, here comes a rally.
Absolutely. Look, 29 blown saves, and that was only second most in the National League. 61 home runs allowed from the 7th inning on.
Well, Billy Wagner went down one in August last year, and that obviously hurt them a lot.
Chris Coste takes a fastball in tight, and it's 1-1. There's K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez.
Whenever fans see this guy's act, we talk about some mustard on a hot dog, and he can get away with it because he's really good.
Coste has a hit tonight. That came in his first at bat. And he's got a couple of ground outs. One to third. Or actually 2 to third. One was a clean ground out. The other one was a fielder's choice that he reached on. Ahead 2-1. Now 2-2. J.J. Putz saved 40 games in 2007. He was 6-1 with the Mariners, a 1.38 ERA.
It was a great trade they made with Seattle. They got 3 players, and they're all here contributing. One being Reed, the guy they just put in the outfield.
Yeah, Jeremy Reed's in left field for Daniel Murphy. Coste stays alive as he fights that one off. 95 miles an hour. 101 career saves for J.J. Putz. Whatever happened to Kaz Sasaki? I mean, that guy he exploded onto the scene and then whoop, he was gone. Norm Charlton, Eddie Guardado, everyday Eddie carry that moniker over to Seattle. Coste has seen some pitches here.
Getting a lot of fastballs with a 3-run lead. That doesn't mean he won't throw a splitter. You know, 2-2 with a 3-run lead, pinch hitter on deck. You think he's just going to keep pumping fastballs.
There's Miguel Cairo, is the on deck batter.
Could be slider now. Nope, another fastball. So the way the catcher Santos set up away like that, I thought he may throw a breaking ball.
Phillies have scored the most runs after the 7th inning. They're going to need to score some more here to make it another come from behind victory. Neither starter was that sharp tonight. Mike Pelfrey for the Mets walked 4 in 5 1/3. Janho Park, well, he had trouble finding the command of his fastball. 3-2 is line caught by Reyes. 2 away. Ball was kind of sinking as it went toward Reyes.
Hit it hard.
So J.J. Putz has 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And he'll face his former teammate Miguel Cairo, who played for the Mariners last year when Putz was the closer. Cairo's still looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Good job by Jay Happ in 2 scoreless innings out of the pen. Final line on Jay Happ, by the way, no hits in 2 innings, a walk and a strikeout. Phillies bullpen tonight of Happ and Durbin. 3 1/3 scoreless innings. the inside corner for a strike. It's 2-1. Miguel Cairo has yet to start a game for the Phillies.
Yeah, he's just been pinch hitting. He's been really anxious when he goes up there to pinch hit. Good at bat here, taking some pitches.
Bounces one toward the middle. Cora's got it. And it's a 1-2-3 eighth inning for J.J. Putz. So an easy bottom of the eighth inning for the Mets. It's time for the ninth, and it's time for David Wright, Ryan Church, and Fernando Tatis. Underway. Wheels. Eagles insider Ray Dittinger gives us looks at the top draft pick, Jeremy Maclin's first day in Eagles green. A breakdown of this ball game and this weekend series, and a recap of the Sixers season on Sports Night tonight at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Great guy to give you a breakdown is Ray Dittinger.
He's as good as it gets.
Yep.
Clay Condrey has been as good as it gets this year. 13th game for Clay, 3-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Everybody keeps asking about if Brad Lidge doesn't return, who's going to have what role? Well, the role is kind of expanding for Clay Condrey. He's in here in the top of the ninth to try to keep this at a 3-run game. David Wright leads it off. Wright has a double and a single and an RBI. And he's bounced to third. He walked his first time up. And he hits one the opposite way toward right. Worth got spun around, but he made a nice recovery. And there's one away. A lot of guys spin around like that, Wheels, they'd be dizzy.
A lot of guys spin around like that. They don't come close to catching the baseball either, because when they get back around the other way, they can't find it. But he turns around, and you know, he knew the ball was hit by a right-handed batter, so the odds are it's going to slice away from him. So you can see even when he turned around, he was still cheating towards the foul line and hoping. And he's got that long wingspan.
Ryan Church, the hitter. Church 0 for 4 tonight. Got the feeling when he bounced into that double play, that rocket he hit in the first inning, all right, maybe things are going to be okay.
You know what? If the Phillies didn't run themselves out of that inning, this game really could have changed.
That's very true.
You know, the bases are loaded, one out. You're at the top of the order. You don't know. But unfortunately, they made a base running mistake there, ran themselves out of the inning, got nothing. Different game.
Yeah, the Phillies have stranded 9 in tonight's game.
You know, the Mets made a mistake there, and they didn't capitalize on it.
To left center field, and it's Victorino's. Condrey now has 2 quick outs here in the ninth.
And Rodriguez is heating up in the bullpen. He'll be coming in the ninth. He was here last year when the Angels were in town, so we saw him pitch in Philadelphia. There he is.
Cisco Rodriguez, the all-time saves leader in a season, Major League Baseball history. Did that last year with 62. Fernando Tatis, he's been on base 3 times tonight.
And the Angels just didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay that big free agent contract. They let him go, and he wound up here in New York.
Well, it's cost him a couple of times too this year with Brian Fuentes closing games out. Fuentes is a little more erratic than K-Rod is.
Just a little. Sometimes even teams that make a lot of money have to make a decision on a certain guy and decide when to cut him loose, and the Angels did it.
2-0 the count to Tatis. He'll appeal to Adrian Johnson. He says he went around. That's a good call. And it's 2-1. Tomorrow will be a late afternoon ball game here at Citizens Bank Park. It's a 3:40 first pitch. Jamie Moyer against Oliver Perez. Moyer looking for career win number 250. 2-2 the count to Tatis.
Go up against Oliver Perez, who he can be a little erratic, and he can pitch some really good games as he has against the Phillies in his career. There's Jamie.
Got reports that Jamie's speech yesterday at St. Joseph's was outstanding.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. Rollins to his left. Nice play. Sets himself. Throws a one-hopper. Dug out by Ryan Howard. And the inning is over. Boy, the defense for the Phillies has been absolutely brilliant in the first month of the season. Now the offense, which has been pretty good in its own right. One last chance with the top of the order. It's one more chance to get behind this Phillies offense, and they'll have to do it against the all-time single-season saves leader, Francisco Rodriguez, who saved 62 games last year with the LA Angels, and he's on in his 10th ball game. He has 4 saves, so far this year, 4 opportunities. No wins, no losses, a 2.08 ERA. He's allowed 9 base runners in 8 2/3. Can we just do a little Al Harbowski out there?
He does a lot of stuff, but he's good. He can do whatever he wants.
He has 212 career saves. And that's the first guy he'll face. It's Jimmy Rollins to start the bottom of the 9th inning. K-Rod, you can see the number there, 93. He used to throw in the high 90s when he was a setup guy for the Angels.
Got a really good breaking ball, too. It's kind of a hard slurve. Curve between a curve and a slider.
There's a fastball at 92.
What he does, though, is throw a lot of strikes. You know, and he's fearless. And when you save that many games, you are really competitive. And that's what he's been throughout his career. But he's been used a lot.
He blew 7 games last year. Those guys are hoping he blows one more here. Up high, it's 2-1.
Mets beat him a game last year when they were out in California when he wasn't able to close it down. David Wright got him.
See the Angels all-time saves leaders. Troy Percival atop that list. Then K-Rod. And Jimmy breaks his bat. Oof. Tatis avoids the bat. Cora makes the catch, and there's one away.
Jimmy swinging there, 2-1, got himself out. That pitch was on his hands and moving. Here it is. Watch this baby. Comes boring in. It almost looked like a Mariano Rivera type cutter. The way that thing came in. And when Jimmy swung at that, he thought that pitch was in the middle of the plate. When he made contact, it was on his thumbs.
Victorino's 1 for 4. He scored back in the third. Extended his hitting streak to 11 games. That's at the knees for a strike. All fastballs so far?
Yep, all fastballs. Unless, you know, that almost looked like he threw a little cut fastball.
Yeah.
The one to Jimmy, or maybe just moved. That was his breaking ball. Kind of slipped.
It didn't break much.
No, it slipped.
Rodriguez out of Caracas, Venezuela. Oh. I think Shane was swinging fastball there.
Yeah.
And it's 1-2.
He'll throw a changeup too. Fastball, breaking ball, changeup. And he did not read this, obviously.
Got a piece of it to stay alive.
This guy's really got some movement on his pitches.
Wheels mentioned that he's been used a lot. He's just 27 years old. The Mets signed him through 2011. And he's not a big guy, and that's why you see so much movement to the plate with his body.
And he falls off the mound. He leaves the whole middle of the diamond and get a base hit for it.
He's only 6 feet tall, 195 pounds. But he's already been in 413 games. There's Jimmy still thinking about that at bat.
See, he's making that movement. Like that thing cut. That did something.
Swing and a miss, and Shane is tagged out by Santos, and there are 2 away. And that's a changeup by K-Rod.
Yeah, see him tuck it back in his hand. He threw Victorino a bunch of changeups in that at bat. No, he really jumps at the hitter too. He likes to celebrate.
Yes, he does. So 2 away. Here at the bottom of the 9th inning, and Chase Utley is the batter. Utley's homer tonight. He's also walked. He scored a couple runs. Now he's scored 20 runs on the season. And with 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond, Chase takes low. It's 1-0. .340 game tomorrow. The final game of this series is Sunday. It's a 1:35 start. Joe Blanton gets the start for the Phillies after a couple bullpen sessions, trying to get himself right. He'll be opposed by John Maine. Phillies fans trying to walk out with a smile tonight. Chase was taken all the way on that 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 2-1. 3-1. Ryan Howard hoping for a chance. As good as K-Rod was last year, he was not good in limited appearances in the postseason. That's it for a strike. It's 3-2. So it's 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. Chase Utley and the Phillies fans down to their final strike and their final out. Hit the opposite way. It's going to find the seats in foul territory, so it'll remain full 3-2.
He's pumping fastballs at Chase Utley. For guys like Rodriguez who have all those great pitches, sometimes they'll out-cute themselves trying to embarrass somebody and maybe walk a hitter by throwing something off speed. Now the guy might swing at it, and that's what he wants him to do. But right now he's just pumping fastballs.
I'm amazed how his velocity is down in the low 90s now.
A lot of wear, Tom.
Yep. Ball 4, and the Phillies have a base runner. A little bit of life in that dugout. That's the 4th time that Utley's been aboard tonight. He's been walked twice. He's been hit by a pitch. And Chase and the Phillies are hoping that Ryan Howard can get on and bring the tying run to the plate.
And they just, Tatis just motioned into him. Well, forget it, I'm not holding him on. I don't really care about that guy at first base. We're trying to take as much away from Ryan Howard as we can. You see Tatis playing off the line there, off the bag, and the line at first.
Ryan has a base hit in 3 official at-bats. He walked back in the 5th. It's a 3-run game. Lays off a change-up outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Talk about wear and tear for Rodriguez. 455 innings out of the bullpen for the Angels.
And see, you still got 2 other really quality pitches. Right. Change up there and that breaking ball. And he has enough fastball that he's still really good. And who knows how big his heart is, which is huge when you're a closer. There's a change up, and Ryan Howard trying to hold up on it. Well, that's a lot of what it takes to be a great closer. Obviously, you need stuff, but man, you got to be fearless. They're different animals.
Looked like he may have taken a little off that pitch too, and it's 1-2.
Yep, another changeup. He's throwing a lot of changeups to the left-handed hitters.
Well, and that motion has got to be difficult to pick up the ball.
Jumps at you.
Yep.
You know, they haven't seen a whole lot of them, but the odds are they will by the end of this year.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Howard with the runner on first base in a 3-run game. And he stays alive. And he got a pitch up there too.
He looks like he'd be one of those guys that would really like the guys with big swings. Here's that delivery of his, max effort over the top, and then he falls off to that first base side, and man went up, but it's 50 rows back. Nobody's going to catch that.
I don't know how he stays healthy with that kind of delivery.
Well, you know, some of it could be a shtick too.
Well, that's true, but he's putting a lot behind it.
Oh yeah.
Howard's evened up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. K-Rod allowed 4 homers last year. A little more than 1 strikeout per inning pitched. Well, he's got 1 strikeout here in the 9th. Inside, ball 3.
Well, they're not giving him an easy save. That's 23 pitches.
A lot of the Mets fans that are here tonight, they've seen this picture before.
See what Santos wants here. Change up.
Utley's going to be off on this pitch. There he goes. Swing and a miss. It's in the dirt. Santos picked it up. And the ball game is over. So the Mets take the first of this 3-game series by a final score of 7-4 as Francisco Rodriguez comes on and strikes out 2 here in the 9th inning for his 5th save. Carlos Beltran is our Chevy player of the game. 3 walks, a double, 2 runs scored. He extended his hitting streak to 13 consecutive games. And it didn't start out well for the Phillies, and our W.B. Mason delivery of the game wheels came in the 1st inning.
Murphy in the 1st inning got a fastball, ran right out over the middle of the plate. That was after a walk to Cora, and he hit it into the 1st row over the leaping Jason Worth, and the Mets went up 2-0, and that took some of the air right out of the balloon in this game. That's our W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Well, the Mets jumped out to a 5-0 lead. They win it 7-4. Now for a look at what's coming up on Comcast Sportsnet. Let's go back to the studio with Greg Murphy and Amy Fadul.